This is a 2019 edition. My name is Jake and I'm with Turbo Tabs, the professional in terms of sixes, and we have an amazing game coming up.
Yep. I thought we'll kind of spin it up this time, and I was like, oh, let's get some Highlander, get some Chris Cats on here. But obviously, because I'm the most veteran TF2 player on this power when it comes to sixes, I thought I'll play a bit of the analyst, you play a bit of the host. And just to remind people that doubt me, right, Div 1, baby, okay? That's what it's like, so certified, let's go. I did play in Div 1 for like 1 season. With Drac, I taught him everything he knew.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're going to be watching Drac as well.
I mean, as far as I went into 6, it was Div 3. But yeah, we're going to talk about the game, and this is Ascent versus Feint, one of our biggest games today. And what do we expect from this game today? I mean, what are the stakes?
The stakes here are just not much. Group stages is almost like a kind of a soft like Air Force scrims is what I've been hearing players kick about and stuff. But it is nice practice. It's nice to kind of try out all the kinks at LAN. Nobody wants to rock up on a PC and have it matter in the very first game. So these first games for the teams are going to be much welcomed, but they're not going to break a sweat if like they lose. And if they do lose, they just go back to the demo, baby. This is LAN. I've heard people that they've learned more at LAN than they've learned in their entire TF2 career online.
Well, both teams very well established. I do know that Ascent and Swift kind of ended up in the top leagues. They've been at it for a very long time as well, and now they come here to claim the first prize. But as the game is going to be starting shortly, who are the players that we should be definitely watching out for, the top ones, ones that, you know, our production should be basically have their eyes glued on?
I'm glad you asked because I couldn't remember. So I've wrote them down though. So yeah.
You're prepared.
I'm an out-of-touch gamer. I'm a Div 1 out-of-touch gamer, but an out-of-touch gamer nonetheless. But the Feint squad that you're going to be seeing for the first time on the stream is going to have Ixie on Scout, Kunu on Scout partner as well. You got Mataz, I don't know really how he wants that name pronounced, but we've got him on a roaming. Polygon's going to be pocketing, a Smear, the legend, on Demo Man, and Ombrak is going to be playing that lovable medic. Good team, good squad. It's kind of like a weird mishmash of like old and new. You've got some of the veteran players, and usually those are the best teams that work out. You've got the fresh, passionate talent from like the new players kind of stepping up, but you've also got like that old experience of the old men. They're kind of showing them the way and what's like the correct way of doing it. And it was a little weird. I thought you would have Sorix, and you think they could get it past me, but I thought Sorix would be coming to the LAN. No, they got like the carbon copy, kind of like the off-brand Ixie to come in and play as their Pasta Scout role. I mean, like
Pasta Scout.
Pasta Scout.
Pasta Scout. Well, we'll see how he gets those meat shots in. I mean, it's all about spaghetti and meatballs at this point. As for Feint, what do you think about the team? Who are the people to watch out for? Who's going to give the most trouble to Ascent?
Probably the most trouble that Feint will give Ascent would probably be Smear. Smear is always pounding at LAN. Like, he is just, he's just on another level. You've got those LAN powers as well. Projectiles are just coming out at like 1 ping. Scouts are feeling all the wrath of unfairness that they've been kind of raining hold all online. So now they get to pay all their dues. But I don't know, I feel like it's going to be hard still. Ascent, while they did kind of struggle with Swift, as we saw earlier, they are still like predicted seed 2 in this entire tournament. So, and Feint are kind of maybe just punching a little bit low, maybe alongside Swift as well. So if Swift can give a tough match to Ascent, it's logical to think that Feint will as well. Yeah,
I mean, both teams are at the top leagues. I mean, we also have 7, and we also have
Swift.
Yeah, Swift. And they're basically, you know, just any of those teams could really take it.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
You can't really put a point on which team actually is going to do the best. Every single team has the same amount of experience, more or less. Players are about at the equal level. And now performing at LAN, you know, the ping will no longer be an issue. And this is where the big boys come to show their toys and show who is the big boss of the sixes scene. But I believe we should be shortly turning it to our caster desk, as we have Grumpy Koi and Beater on the casting job on the microphones. So guys, please take it away.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the caster's desk. I'm joined by my dear friend Beater, who we've done loads of casts together, but we've never actually casted at LAN.
Have we not?
Not together, no.
Oh, wow, I didn't realize. All right, well, it's a good thing we finally got it over with. And did you notice how he actually lost his Div 1 sign? It fell off just like he did in his TF2 career.
Because he got dropped.
Something like that. But
it's a good analogy. But so bringing into this, we've got Feint versus Ascent, two strong teams in Prem over the last season, and it should be really interesting. Both teams made playoffs. Obviously, Feint got knocked out by Swift, and then Ascent lost the grand final to Seven.
yeah,
But actually, on this, I feel like it could be quite a close match. LAN's always change that little things, especially like demos start to play a lot differently. You kind of get a little bit more of an impact from your soldiers as well. So do you feel like we're going to see a little bit of a change of dynamics, or do you feel
like LAN does change things, and also just like they physically have changed on Demo Man, right? Like they have a different Demo Man to LAN. So they played with Dr. Phil the entire season, and he's now on Lego. So instead we have Adiski who stepped in, who won last Copenhagen LAN, but he has been kind of absent for a while. He hasn't played too much TF2. He's been busy with work. So that's going to change everything, like the whole dynamic of that team. They actually looked really strong coming into the LAN. They were like winning against Seven, who they really struggled with. And like it really seemed like Seven was that white whale that they were chasing, but now they just lost to Swift in this first round. So I'm kind of curious to see, like maybe they're more mortal than you think, or maybe Swift is better than we think. Like Lucas was just absolutely pounding, so maybe that was it. Right?
I think that's a big impact because when I made my prediction of the 2-1, I feel like even though Swift are kind of incredibly underrated, they are actually really, really good, and they have some really strong players. Like I mentioned, like Classy is a new player on the scene, but Classy actually has a huge impact as a scout, and he's done some really good work. And alongside that, you mentioned Lucas before. I feel like it's a team that doesn't have huge names. You know, there's no like players like they're on Ascent and Seven. There's no Cadus, there's no Drac, there's no Solentes, there's no Captain. There's none of those big names. But as a team, there's people that have picked up things from Seven. You've got Seeds on Medic who can pass that knowledge. You've got Pappy as well, who's been playing at LANs for ages. I feel like they're a really good team. So moving on to this matchup, Beta, I feel like Feint also have a interesting amount of like, not necessarily no-named players, but people that get underestimated a lot. And I feel like Feint's one of those teams that do. They've got Polygon on Pocket, who is a fantastic Pocket and can play the game very, very well. You've got who's their roamer?
The roamer for Feint is, I can't even remember.
Because it was Gink, wasn't it, during the season, or was it?
No, he's on Swift. He's on Swift.
No.
So I just watched Swift. So
it's Mathers, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's Mathers.
Mathers.
Yeah, they changed
I'm sorry, it's Mathers. So you got
you got Poppy and
Polygon,
Polygon
and Mathers. High news. And effectively, that's a really good soldier combo. It's not as strong as the Slenters Drac combo in name and power and like how people have perceived them, but as a combo, they're kind of strong. Like we've seen, I actually remember Polygon and Mathers playing during the season. Now I just think I brain farted, and they have played really consistently together. So coming forward onto this, I feel like Polygon's really good at creating space. He's really good at creating opportunities for his team.
Yeah, he's just like a DM beast, right? Like he is like the big monster battering ram that will just make his way in, and if you don't deal with him, he will just kill everything.
Yeah.
Right? So like you just need to deal with him, and then Matters. Like I guess Matters is for me like a big question mark. Like how well can he adapt, because he's a relatively new roamer in Prem. Like he was in Prem the season before, but that was his first season, and then he just joined this team pretty recently, and this might be his first LAN. I'm not quite sure. I think he has been like to one other LAN, but like this is a big LAN, so this is like a bigger stage than before. So can he actually like step up? Because some people just crumble under this kind of pressure, you know, and we don't know whether or not Mathis is one of those people. But like, I have a feeling that he's not going to be. But you never know, and you can never really go in. But
you can never really tell at LAN because so many little factors affect everything. So it's not just things like, you know, oh, I might have an internet disconnection or something like that online. In here, it's like people can crumble. We've seen players crumble before, and we've seen teams just lose their cohesion in the environment because it's so different. It's so strange having your med next to you, the team next, like either 2 players down, or sometimes even in front of you, and you can just look up and you see the team you're facing, and it can be really intimidating because there's some almost feels like real life consequences to your actions. So some people can get a bit too passive, not feel as comfortable because they're not home in their element. But some people explode at LAN. And like with Smire on demo, it was mentioned before, but Smire is a fantastic demo man as well.
Yeah, especially in LAN. Like, he is one of those people that just show up to LAN and then just things explode in front of him, and he does a ton of damage.
Yes.
So, like, he has always had the issue of, like, kind of going too far forward and losing track of where his team is. And here at LAN, he can just look over at his monitor, or the monitor of his teammate, and see, oh, I'm too far forward, right?
Yeah.
So I think he actually gets better at LAN just because he has that closer connection with the rest of his team, because he does have a tendency to actually get caught out too far ahead of his team.
I feel like one of the things where Smire really popped out for me recently was when he was at the Sweelan,
right,
and he was playing with Pizza Polished, and he did absolutely amazing at a demo at that LAN. And I feel like at Copenhagen Games he was also very, very strong, as well as iSeries. And coming into this, I feel like if he can rein things in, he's got Ombrak next to him as well, and Ombrak's a LAN vet. Yeah. He is a very experienced player and someone that should definitely be respected, especially in a LAN setting. He can kind of rein Smire into a good position. As long as they have that cohesion together and they work off Konu and Ixie as well. Ixie being actually a really good scout. Like, Koff gets a lot of the attention. But I feel like Ixie is a really, really good scout as well. So their scout combo is very on lock, very good. I feel like it's all down to how Smire kind of impacts the game, because especially against Adiski on Ascent, Adiski is main classing. We haven't seen him main class in a long while.
Oh yeah, he was actually Soldier last LAN.
Yeah,
where he played with Ascent.EU. So
we haven't seen him main class.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good point. I hadn't even thought about that. But yeah, Ixie, he's going to be really good. I have no doubt about it. He is one of those question marks as well, I think, for me. Like, how good is he going to be? And then I looked at some results and some logs from the previous game, and I think they played against 7. And they lost the first map 4-2, and I think Kuno, like, top damaged for them.
Yeah.
So, like, so Koff or Kuno has been absolutely pounding, and he was on both maps. And then they lost the second map 5-0. So kind of interesting there. And then, of course, we saw Ascent. They won the first map 4-2, I think. It was like, it was pretty close, but then
they kind of took it away.
Like, Swift had to push, right? So
yeah,
they got another round, so it looked less close than it actually was. And then finally, we saw like them actually winning the first map. So I know it was like each other's map pick as well.
Yeah,
which was super weird. So
super
they just
weird.
took each other's map. Yeah.
Yeah, and Swift bringing it to 2-1 on the second map of Badlands was very interesting. And it just, like you mentioned, it kind of shows that there is a chink in the armor of Ascent. They're not this impervious beast. Right now, 7 are looking strong, but it's LAN and it can change. And it could be one of those things where 7 just take it all.
Yeah.
But I don't think it will be that way.
No, I don't think so at all either. And we're probably getting ahead of ourselves even a lot here. But
it's like, no, but I feel like because I was on the desk earlier and and that was the main discussion was like Kada's taking home his check, and I don't think that's going to be the case. I feel like in the current state of what's happening at Copenhagen LAN, people are going to have to fight for that top spot. It's not a case of this is no oh, here's my checkbook, I'll take that, thank you very much. It is a case of you're going to have to fight for that paycheck, and it's a damn good paycheck. So thank you very much to Leak Gaming for sponsoring us.
Yeah, indeed.
A little bit of sponsor love there. Yeah. And so I'm excited.
Yeah. Also, you remember how Captain got like really sick that one time at Rewind? This time it's Cadus. So they can lose like their main.
Oh yeah,
Cadus
has got a headache, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's got like a. All right, let's talk about the maps. So the map picks that we've gotten in are Granary and Snakewater, and I saw Ascent play against Lego yesterday on Granary, and the first thing that happens for like the first 3 minutes was Ascent just crushed Lego, like completely slaughtered them on every single mid, rolled all the way back to last, and they just won, right? And then they actually started getting rolled in reverse. So I don't know if that was like land yet. Oh, it's Gully and Snake. All right, thank you.
That changes everything.
Yeah. All right.
And we have oh my God,
Right, so
this is
Gully
one of the problems with LAN. Is we
they
have
just change
these.
their mind. But yeah, like Gully is a really, really good map. And I think it fits the playstyle of Feint pretty well. Like, you can definitely slow it down if you really want to, right? Like, it used to be, like, Gully was this big 7 map where they would just slow it down. And Feint, they tend to be pretty slow and deliberate, right? Like, they're a pretty slow team the way they play. And I feel like Gully can do that, but at the same time, it is a pretty close map. But I don't feel like 7 is the kind of team to really, like push on very small advantages through chokes. I don't think we're going to see that too much.
No, Gully's very interesting. It's got a real sort of demo vibe to it, especially in the later parts of the map. So second and last kind of really dictates on how your demo's watching choke and doing angles and stuff. We've seen teams kind of exploit the whole big door push from a demo, just walking into big door and spamming onto midpoint.
Right.
Whilst they're holding second. But I feel like, yeah, Ascent are going to try and really push onto Feint and kind of crush their defense. And I feel like Feint are going to spend a lot of time trying to retort that, deal with that, and transfer it into an advantage for themselves.
Yeah. One of the things that I think we're going to see a lot is that they tend to send Tiger behind in big door, right? So they'll pressure into big door, send Tiger behind, and I think everyone knows that that's what's going to happen. And then they just go, like, Tiger has the best scout DM. He's like a scout
Beta.
1v1.
It's Ascent versus
oh, right.
Feint.
7 is not in here at all.
Yeah, so there's no Tiger involved.
Right, I just
but AMS does like doing this as well.
Yeah, he does do that
so
all the time.
We'll just replace Tiger with AMS and we're sorted.
Yeah, cool. I have just been talking about the wrong team for like a solid 4 minutes. That's cool. That's fine.
It's fine, Beta. It's fine.
Yeah. There's only 4 teams, so there's like a 50% chance that I get one of them right? But what do you think? Like Ascent, how have they been playing? Playstyle-wise, I think they've been pretty happy with sending in players very aggressively, right?
Yeah,
and then,
they've been playing a very aggro playstyle.
When I talk to a lot of players, they say that the soldiers are like the real carries of Ascent, right? Or like they're the ones that you have to deal with. And now we're at LAN. So like Drak and Silentis are just
terrifying.
Yeah, like Silentis, I saw his logs and he was just like going
well,
nuts.
Silentis has pounded at every LAN he's been at. Like the first time I was like, ooh, Silentis was during I-58. So on I-58, what they did is they actually had it was full tilt with Mikey.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, with Mike, Silentis destroyed I-58. He was the best soldier of I-58, and he's been to LANs ever since, and it's just consistent, huge damage numbers, huge amount of air shots, dealing with everything perfectly where he needs to. And I'm afraid for anyone who has to go up against the Silentis Drak combo, because you've got Silentis playing a beautiful pocket role, but playing a very aggro pocket as well.
Yeah.
Because AMS plays the main call for his team, that frees up the soldier, especially the pocket soldier, to actually go and be free. Like
so to speak.
Yeah, so to speak. It's just if you've got pocket as main call or demo as main call, you kind of have a much tighter combo.
Yeah.
But when Scout's involved and Scout's taking a lot of the heals, the pocket soldier tends to be a lot further forward, a lot more aggressive, and you see really good setup plays from Silentis onto Drak bombing in. You'll probably see on this mid, you'll see a very nice distraction bomb or big high bomb coming out of Silentis, and Drak will just pop out of nowhere straight onto the demo.
He's not going to pop. No, he's going to pop out a big door. That's what's
he's going to pop out a big door, but you know what I mean.
Going to be.
But it's going to feel like nowhere to the player, because he's just going to. They're all going to be focusing Silentis in the air, and Drak's just going to be on top of them like instantly.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to give us a bold prediction going into this?
I'm going to think Ascent are going to take Gully Wash. Ascent are going to take Gully Wash 3-1.
3-1. All right. I'm going to go with, that's a really good prediction, but I'm just going to go the other way just for fun. Right? Ascent, they already lost a map to Swift, and Swift are not good. They just got lucky. So, Feint, they're just
I disagree with you on that, but carry on.
All right. Just being a devil's advocate. But I think I will just say that it's going to be like a very slow match, and Feint are going to win 2-1.
Okay.
So just for the hell of it, right?
Yeah, and we're going to be going live very shortly, so we will be going into the game. For those who are just joining us, this is Ascent versus Feint at Copenhagen Games. The first map is going to be Gully, followed by, was it Snakewater? Yeah, it was It was Snakewater. We will have a discussion about Snakewater, I think, later on, or at least the analyst desk will. Snakewater is a real aggro map, whilst we're going to see a little bit of more stalemate-y sort of plays coming out of Gully. But we will be going live very shortly, so...
Yeah, who are you really watching out for? Like, who do you want to go huge on this map?
Smearay. I'm going to pick one from each team. Smearay, and I want Drac to go big because we're at his home. We need Drac to show why he is the big door god, and he needs to watch it. He needs to watch that big door and show everyone how it's done, and I believe he can do that.
All right, my eyes are going to be firmly planted on AMS. I think his performance on this map is going to be like a huge factor in his team success. Like, he has this very erratic game, so yeah, I think it's definitely going to be all about whether or not he can just carry his team and make good calls at the same time. But we are live, so take it away on this mid, Grumpy.
Okay, so we're coming into the first mid, and Smearay is doing a little bit of damage across onto Big Door. Deals a little chunk onto the medic. The medic is going to go up Big Door, and now we have Polygon looking to take a little bit of damage. Players are all circling, and the Ascent players are pushing across the point, separating the Feint players apart. The Feint players are locked in. Adiski's just going in, he just pipes the medic, but he doesn't get this connection. Polygon saves his teammate, but Ombrak does end up going down. Smearay down, and that's going to be the first wipe. Going to Feint Gaming. Really intense mid. A lot of interesting decisions from Feint there. Very spread out, Peter.
Yeah, that decision to go through the elbows to try and get out was absolutely disastrous for them. Like, not only did they lose their medic for it, but they lost their medic super late. So now Colin, he's going to have a full Uber advantage. You can see they're already trying to just spam down his sentry gun. And they are just gearing up for this perfect push into left, and I think it's going to come right about now.
Yeah, and Koss looking to get the shot in, but the Uber is coming in on the right-hand side. Adiski trapping off that spawn door really nicely. Smearay underneath, lands some pipes on some Uber players, but he actually gets 3 players down for his team. Solentes tries to help out. Koff goes down, but it's only Drax, Solentes, and Adiski left. Medic, Ombrak stays alive for so long, but eventually goes down. But
no, they just sneak onto the point. These guys just sneaking off. Yeah.
Drac with 5 HP.
They were so focused on just defending their medic that they just lost sight of the point, and they're just going to go in there and just immediately take the point. That was really clutch play. That was a very bad push. Smear did a lot of good work there to try and defend that, but at the very end of the day, they just lost focus for a little while, and they just lose the first round, 1-0 for Ascent. Very quick round.
It's all about those focus calls and those focus on positioning, but actually coming into this first one, Mathis actually takes down Adiski, but Smearay goes down as a response, and Solentes with those nice rockets helps his team gain the advantage once again, but they're losing players, trading Polygon for arms, and it's going to be a 3 versus 3 right now. And we've got a scout coming in behind. Credu dealing some damage onto Ombrak. They're all very low. They're going to have to start backing out because the very healthy Ascent team is on the chase. Ixie staying alive. Koff going down though. And that's actually going to be really bad for Feint. But they managed to keep their meta alive. So they're going to have equal Ubers and should be able to hold this second point to mid.
Yeah, they've got the demo man just sticking up choke. And like, it was really unfortunate that Kuhn decided to stay in. I don't know why he did. It looked really dumb. And they're actually going to send in a sack soldier. Drax not really going to get anything done there. I think he got pretty heavily denied. And then they might actually see a drop down play.
So much damage onto Smearay! He goes down another pipe onto Polygon. That's created so much space for Ascent. They're barreling in through Big Door. They know that there's going to be some sort of disparity there behind the entire team. You've got Solentes going straight in. Ombrak keeps himself alive, but the force has happened. They haven't lost any players apart from Solentes. They have the full Uber out. They're chasing Ombrak into spawn, but he's not able to be chased down, and he's going to get onto his last with his team. They're looking to set up a last hold right now as Ascent looking to set themselves up, checking for traps. That's always a good thing to see. Smearay setting up his last. And right now, Smearay trying to deal with the Uber that's come in from main. They're walking in, they know the trap's there, and Arms just going straight in onto Polygon and Smearay, Mathis and Smearay still alive, ends up going down though. Good pistol work from Arms Beater. That's the second round to Ascent. They're playing so aggro right now, like you mentioned they would.
Yeah, that's really impressive. Like, they just immediately noticed that the demo man was in the water, and they just Ubered a scout down into it. It really good to go there. There's actually a soldier down there. I don't think they were counting on being there, but then MS decided, I'm just going to hit every single pistol shot. And after that, the stickies were gone from the point, they could just pour onto it, and it was just a meat grinder after that. So Feint the game, they need something from this mid.
Yeah, they really need to change the situation right now as Mathis does a nice little bomb, pushes players off the high ground. They have to deal with Drak, who's in behind. So that was Salentes, and he's actually going to go down. Ombrak and Smearay go down though. And Ams with the retort. That just means that there's 3 versus 3 once again, but they have their heals. Connor's going to have to back out as he's got chasing. But they've actually chased a little bit too late and not able to go on to him. Good decision from them, really, because they're so low and they haven't got any heals.
Yeah, and Ascent, they're just trying to keep their medic alive. They're just going to hang back, just making sure nobody gets behind. Like you saw when he went back there, try to see if he can get in. But Ascent, they're going through Victor here. They're going to send him the soldier quickly. Actually gets bombed, and Matt, he tried his best, but he was getting immediately dealt with. But just very textbook here, getting up there, even getting Smear. So Smear actually does suffering a bit from that overextending syndrome there that I was hoping he would not suffer from during the land, but he has been taken down. That's going to completely leave the door open. The metaphysical portal to the second point has been opened, and Ascent, they're just going to go straight to last.
Yeah, they're going to come in from main, holding their Uber really nicely, not using it until they really need to. They've done their classic thing, try to put arms onto the point, but they haven't capped second yet. They're still waiting for that cap to go on from Credu. They've started the cap down now, they're pressuring players, but the Uber has come out from Feint. They're trying to clear up, or at least bully players out, and Ams is going to get picked up by the traps from Smearay. A lot of damage in that river area. Adiski separated from his team, but Connor healing him up. Smearay dealing with the players coming round back. He should be very careful. Oh, Mathis gets picked up by the nice trap from Adiski. Credu just walks in.
What?
Oh my god, he gets on back.
He had no business getting that at all. He just went in a 3-shot the medic. That was looking so bad, but somehow they managed to just get off their own medic and pick off the enemy medic at the tail end of that fight. That was a really poor fight from Ascent. They played the point, but they didn't have the second cap, so it just kind of seemed like a pointless push because they weren't going for kills. So it just ended up not having any momentum at all. See Kuno, he's on his sniper rifle. He is a very good sniper, and he will not manage to get the headshot there, but he does scare off the soldier quite a bit. But there's going to be a full Uber push coming into that very soon, and there's like a sentry going up. I don't think that's going to be level 3 in time, but it looks like they might even be going for Riverside. It's a pretty interesting way to go here for Ascent.
They just Uber Ams in below. I think they were trying to deal with the fact that usually Smearay watches that lower area, but he's actually just going to get rotated on by Ams. Cleaned up, there's no sticks on point, so Ams starts the cap really nicely. Whilst Feint are trying to deal with the Ascent players, they're all over them. They're trying to clear that point. Oh my god, Ombrak is in! Oh, nice attempt from Ombrak, but that's actually going to bring it to 3-0 Beta.
Yeah, my prediction is not looking too hot right now. That was
Nor's mine though.
Yeah, to be fair, this is much more dominant from Ascent. I thought they might have been really wounded from that first match against Swift, but I suppose not. Maybe Gully was just their map. But yeah, that was a really solid push, and we saw like all the Ubersaws just getting wheeled there. And now we're gonna see the 4th mid here, and so far there hasn't been a single flawless
damage. Mid. Look at those air stickies coming out of Adiski. Salentes goes in. Not able to connect anything, but they've just traded a player each. And Salentes helping his team push forward. Ams is in onto Ombrak. Ombrak is trying to stay alive and actually fight the scout he's dealing with. But Ams just juking so much damage, keeps himself alive and traps poor Smearay into a situation where he's got a soldier to deal with on his left, which he manages to pipe.
Whoa, why didn't he pick up the medkit? What? He just stood next to it. Oh my god.
But did you see that? He caught Salentes with a pipe.
Yeah, that was a really juicy pipe. I don't know how he fixed that. That's just pure third eye, seeing into the future there. And maybe some land ping, having some things to say about that. But Ascent, they're in this very commanding position once again. Full Uber advantage. They're just waiting for everyone to get there. Want to get their buffs in right. There's a sentry gun again. If they can get that down before they push, that would be really good. But I think they might just go for like just a normal. Oh, AMS, like he wants it in now. But
yeah, he really wants to go in. And Ascent just looking very dominant, like hugely in charge right now. They've done the classic thing. They've Ubered Ams. What? Why have they Ubered so early? This disrespect. And they're just dealing with the stickies really nicely. But Smearay in secret deals so much damage to the people on point. But Ascent being smart, only putting certain players on there. They clean house. And that's bringing it 4-0 to Ascent. They're having such an easy time with this. It's awful to see.
Yeah, that was a real land strat. I haven't. They've done this twice now, where they send in the scouts into water. I guess they've kind of figured that Smear has been playing in water quite a bit, but I think Smear is one step ahead and he's not falling for it. But it still just worked out just because they put so much pressure onto the point and then managed to just like lure people down there. So
Yeah, and it looks like they're going for a right side mid actually on this, as Salentes are bombs in, trying to deal with the players that are going onto his side, but Drag's the first one to go down. Salentes super low, and Feint having a nice strong mid, changing things up. They have lost Smiro, but they've got the chase onto Connor. They're going to bully out the players just based on pure damage, and they're going to go forward with this. But that was a good mid from Feint there.
yeah, that's the first really good mid. They have won some mids before, but they always like lost their medic or a demo man or 2 scouts or something like that. So it's actually a demo man on top of the point that he's kind of caught, and yeah, he's going to get taken down, not able to get out. Like you really want to make a jump out, but he didn't have the help to do it. So that's really unfortunate. So once again, doors are open, and they are getting ready to push in here. Ascent, they did a pretty good job of actually delaying, just so it's not going to be a full Uber push, but it is still a demo man down, so they could play the point very aggressively if they so choose.
Yeah, Smiro actually wants to bring this in forward. He's dealing a lot of spam, dealing with the sentry gun really nicely, now clearing off the point. Huge amount of damage onto the point from Smiro. His team can clean up on that damage, trying to deal with the sentry gun, but actually, whilst that was happening, Ascent focus called, cleared house, and Ombrak's all on his own, the 1v1 against... Oh, he has to use the Uber to stay alive. He's going to back out, join his team onto mid, but that was a good start, but ultimately a failed push by
Yeah,
Feint
it's very
there.
interesting. They was just not even using the Uber. They just played it so aggressively, and then I guess Ombrak wasn't in a good position to actually like flash anyone, so he decided to run, and now he just had to use it on nothing. A nice air shot there coming out from the soldier. Not going to get a kill for it, but Connor, he's kind of caught. Like there's a scout behind him,
though.
so he's going to have to go out. And looks like it might be the scout that's caught instead. We'll see how he gets on. The demo man, he's going to get jumped now very aggressively, guys. So he's way just pushed out by that soldier, and this looks like going to be a pretty easy second point here from Ascent. Although, like Smear, he wants to fight.
Mire's putting in work right now. He's trying to deny all of these players, Beta, and because they don't have their demo with them, they can't extend this fight for too long. They've done the Uber exchange. They're now leaving. This is a kind of an interesting strat from Ascent. They're trying to back out, get a little bit of discourse on the side of Feint, and pick up players individually. They do pick up Smiro, but they lose 2 players in response. So they have to play it correctly. Like we got Adiski with the trap, gets Ixie. Nice and easy for him. And now he's trying to deal with this soldier. Soldier jumps in, tries to pipe, not able to do so. Surfs away quite nicely though. But Polygon with the return kills Adiski and creates a little bit of an advantage for Feint, Peter.
Might be a bit of rust there on Adiski's side. He actually like dropped down. He like stumbled down from the top of the point. He didn't get up there. So he actually had to fight a soldier on the low ground. It would have been a lot better if he was up on the high ground where he could dodge easier and like air pipe the soldier down to really deny him. But oh well. We're now in a stalemate situation. Ascent, they're going to be in big door here. Drag, like not a surprise there. They're actually peeking through choke, but this is where Drag can actually come in from the other side if they're not careful. And then he's going to Uber in, so just take the Uber exchange and Salentes goes down. I think he was trying to go behind, and that is not a good exchange so far for the side of Ascent. We might see a Soldier go through drop down. Actually, a lot of people going through drop down, Scout and Soldier, and they're just in there. I think they've been called. Yeah, they've definitely been called. So not quite working out, but they're putting on so much pressure.
Yeah, Feint trying to win this post-Uber fight, and they've actually picked up both scouts right now, trying to get onto Connor. Connor's staying alive really well, but the rest of his team weren't able to save him. He ends up going down, and that was effectively a wipe as Salentes came back right at the end and wasn't really able to help his team. But good work from Feint. Gets the exchange going, knows that there's not going to be 100% like cohesion on the side of Ascent, moves forward really, really nicely, catches those players out, and starts bringing things in their favor, Beta.
Yeah, very strong push. It's it usually ends pretty poorly when you go through the drop down like that and you get called, but there's actually just so much pressure coming in from everywhere that it worked out pretty well. It's about 80% Uber right now, so Smear, he needs to really not die before this Uber comes out. And it looks like it might actually be a Riverside push that doesn't include the demo. So this is the old Riverside push where they're just going to play the point.
And Feint going to send in Polygon first. The sentry gun immediately denies him. But with the Pyro, they deny it so well. That Uber was totally wasted. Drak ends up going down in the lower, but the trap from Adiski picks up 2 players as they try the double scout strat onto the lower part of the point from water. But Salentes dealing with players that are pressuring him. Ombrak actually ends up going down, and that's going to be a full wipe for Feint, and Ascent back in control.
That That Pyro and Sentry play was absolutely disgusting.
Oh no, Adiski, that's so mean!
You jump forward, just sticking it off, and you just gotta keep track of that. That's really important. So that's gonna be in Kunu's down. That's just one more body unable to do anything. Smooth's gonna sticky up Pickle, but it has been spotted. So they're just gonna walk in through Joker. They know there's no stickies. And you see, yeah, they're just taking it slow. They just want all this positioning. Yeah. Oh, Soldier actually jumps in very aggressive.
Oh!
Polygon!
Polygon! Beautiful air shot from him onto Connor. And was that a drop? I don't think that was a +2. I can't
Not
really...
quite, but it doesn't matter.
Close.
He's dead. He is.
Probably wasn't
it's
close.
effectively a drop. It's like just as important. And
yeah, but it just that is completely shut down the Ascent push. They haven't got the heals to deal with it. And he's trying to deal with the people coming into choke, but he's taking so much damage. Connor has just come back in, but Smearray wants to go really aggro. Really good pipes onto Drac there, but he ends up going down to Koff. And they're looking to be aggressive once again. They want to be careful for traps. And that's exactly what they do, Beta. But Feint, clawing it back, they're showing they've got teeth.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you can kind of figure that maybe Ascent, they're going to, like maybe they've had so much success that they're just going to be slacking off a bit, but they're going to come in with this Uber charge right now. And they're just trying to get players. They're not really playing the point, and they're not really going for the medic. So they're just trying to kill everything else around them, but they're finding nothing.
Yeah, and sadly, Feint are going to have to back out because Ascent just holding everything perfectly on their last. Just not giving Feint the opportunity to capitalize on the mistakes that Ascent are making. Even though Feint are getting these really good situations in their favor, they're not able to capitalize on it, but they do get the force onto Connor, which is nice. They're going to have to use that onto second. But with Ixie going down, there may be some pressure coming out of Ascent. We've seen them push off one player ads before, and Am's already peeking, looking for that opportunity. Bit of a rotation coming out of Ascent now, Beta. And maybe they're going to start pushing, or maybe it'll just go back into the stalemate.
Yeah, like currently Ascent, they are at an uber disadvantage, so like Feint, they're definitely going to try something. It looks like they're going to send in a Soldier to choke, and that's going to be followed by the rest of the team shortly. So that's the direction they've gone with. So far, they've gone in really far.
Yeah, actually, Koff going down to Adiski. A bit of a bomb coming in from Mathers. Mathers gets cleaned up really nicely, but
nice shot.
Big rockets from Polygon, enjoying that really good ping, but Connor's completely separated!
No.
What a read from Polygon!
Yeah, Connor went for that medkit. He was trying to arrow his players, but he just got picked off right there. Looks like Feint's actually gonna go back a bit here. They don't want to risk their own medic to do that.
You could see the thought process of Polygon there.
Yeah.
You could see that he read that the soldiers were going away from the medic. He saw that the beam was disconnected. He saw that backpedal, and he was just like, yeah, this is my time to shine. I'm going to take out Connor. Get another advantage for Feint, and they need to capitalize on this. Otherwise, they are still at a risk of being 5-0'd.
Absolutely. And they're doing their absolute best to extend this match. You know, this is the day where you get all the land jitters out of the way. You want to play as much as possible, for as long as possible, and you want to win, of course.
Again, Credo defending that sentry gun from that Uber, but they managed to get it this time. Smearray may be able to capitalize it with his team. Adiski going down as well. Smearray trapping off the point, but it ends up going down, but they're going to take it with some nice point pressure, and that's going to take it 4-1.
4-1. Yeah, they really needed that. That's going to be a huge morale booster, that's for sure. And they still have like 12 minutes to go, so like technically they're still in this fight. So yeah, really good round coming back here, and just like huge plays from Polygon especially, right? Like picked off the medic twice. Like those were just solo plays essentially.
I think it's very, very difficult for Feint because they came from playing against 7 where they did get 5-0'd. They want to avoid that as much as possible. And on this mid, you see Koff putting in a lot of work as Ascent players start falling down. Now, they've done what they need to do. They've got rid of Drac and Salentes, and you see the collapse of Ascent. As soon as those players are down, you can create advantages because they haven't got their main playmakers on their side.
Yeah, I think they've just been focusing really hard on getting rid of those soldiers. It's what we kind of talked a little bit about in pregame. Scout duel. How did they both die?
They both died to each other. Wait, what?
No. That was another scout. It just looked that way. It looked like the classic Hollywood where they both shoot at the same time and then fall over.
Oh, that would have been brilliant.
Yeah, that looked pretty funny. But yeah, like they just focus really hard on getting rid of those soldiers, and then once that's done, they can just roll across the point and just can't stand up to the pressure.
And Feint feeling like a very different team right now with Polygon going in, creating the space onto Connor. It's going to end up going down, but Feint, feeling like they kind of want to play in.
What happened to Umbreak?
Wait,
Took a pipe.
Adiski! What did you do?
He just piped Umbreak. Umbreak just like took a small peek in there, and he just got dropped by a pipe.
They were too focused on the push, the sack, that Adiski managed to sneak in past even us casters and managed to get onto Umbreak. That is not good. That's Smeary going down the way.
Pipe. Man, these land pipes, they're disgusting from Adiski. He's just like hitting them from so far away.
Once that rust goes, I feel like the rust is starting to shed off on Adiski. Fantastic demo main. Someone that does command respect, and I feel like he's kind of showing that this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't think anyone doubts that Adiski's a good player. It's just all about
Just he hasn't played.
How rusty is he? But there's going to be an Uber. They actually went through the door before they even used it. But this sentry gun finally goes down.
And Ascent doing some good work, dealing with that sentry gun, blocking off the left-hand side. Some really, really good damage as they're looking to get so many players down. There's been such a clearing of house before even going on to the point. That is focus calls, Beta. That is how you do that.
Yeah, they didn't even care about the medic, right? They just completely, they focused on everyone. They played the point a little bit, and that was just so crushing, the way they just did that. So just textbook, and somehow Smear managed to just get pushed all the way into Riverside. Like, he just couldn't get to the point at all. And this is a very aggressive rollout. Wow.
Smear, super aggressive, locking down Choke, but it worked. Adiski's not currently in the fight right now, so Feint can deal with everyone else until Adiski starts moving forward, but they do lose Polygon. The side of Ascent there, their combo is still on the lower ground. Celentes, a nice bomb in from lower. Draka ends up going down though, but the players on Feint are dropping like flies, and Ascent going to chase them all the way. What are Feint going to have to do with this pure aggression out of Ascent? Arms dealing with the people upper. Adiski almost looking like he wanted to go into main there. That level of aggression was unprecedented.
Yeah, they just completely bullied out all of Feint. Looks like Kuna's going to go on Sniper right now, but they have definitely, they have their backs against the wall. Technically, they also have to push if they want to have a chance of winning. So, like, you know, Ascent, they could just hold. I don't think they're actually thinking about that right now. I think they're just trying to
not their play style.
Right, push. Yeah.
Push. That's very much
they
the
do
Ascent
get AMS.
way.
Oh
my!
He got the headshot, but not the kill. But the demo is so weak, and he's actually going to get cleaned up. So that was actually a really big play.
That was such a quick headshot as well. That was such a cheeky little peek.
Yeah, there's like a delay in TF2 when you hit a headshot. So if you don't, if you shoot too fast, it just does 50. So that was like on the dot. He's got the timing down, that's for sure. Celentes actually playing the point. This is
he deals with the Ixie, does some really good damage to Mathis.
Yeah, and they can't push out when he's down there.
No, they really can't. They can't risk it. And Drax joining his teammate, his comrade in arms, with a little bit of spam, trying to create the opportunity for his teammate to escape. And right now, Ascent are looking poised to go forward. It's equal at Ubers, but I feel like Celentes wants to do something from lower. They're watching it. He's on to Mathis. Nice direct, creating that distraction once again. And that creates the move. Oh my god, Drac reads the situation absolutely perfectly. Gets on to Umbreak. Umbreak ends up dying and dropping to full damage. Everything's changed for Ascent right now. They can push forward and maybe put the final nail in the coffin for this map for Feint.
They shot him in the head so that he took fall damage from like no, I think he just jumped and then he got hit in the head and he died to fall damage. So, he dumped. He had like 130 health or something, right? So he was like, okay, one rocket can't drop me, but then he took the fall damage, so he couldn't drop to it. That's so unfortunate.
That is so unfortunate for Umbreak. That's very hard not to drop against, because that's just a headshot like that just shows the prowess of the Drac headshot mentality that he has whenever he bombs people. Yeah, and they're actually going to take out the sentry gun. They're going to roll over to the left-hand side, but the headshots are coming out of Koth. And they may be able to hold this, actually. They've rotated. They've dealt with that Uber so well.
Oh, no. Smear goes too far forward, though, and actually gets picked off by Kredu. So this could have been a really easy push out. Now it's going to be a little bit more complicated, perhaps. But no, it looks like Kredu's not going to go for it. He's just going to go hang out with his medic.
Just as I thought Feint were going to lose it, they hold them. Again, they show their teeth. They start baring their teeth, gritting themselves into a position where they can just bully Ascent out of their last. And they've done a good job. A little bit scrappy here and there, but they dealt with the situation very well.
Absolutely, and looks like Kuno has already been taking down Ascent. They're trying to hold off this aggression right now. I think there's a soldier behind the drop down. Yeah, he's going to get the force out. Nice play from Solentis, and even makes it out alive. So they've now they're just stuck behind, and Solentis, he's just going to get out. Not quite. He trades with the soldier, I think. So that's really nice. And Ascent, they're just going to push into big door.
I think Polygon was actually on the flank. He ends up going down. But Omrek gets destroyed by Drak once again. Smeare, Ixie join him in the respawn queue, and this is going to be it. This is the opportunity for Ascent to clean this off. They moved on the right-hand side. Konu not able to get a good shot, but Am's just dealing with both soldiers that are coming out of spawn. He's just denying that spawn so well. They're starting the cap down now. They've got the sticks up, and that's going to be 6-1 to Ascent. The Mercy rule is in effect, and that means they do take the first map of Gully Wash.
Yeah, that was actually a really fast-paced map. That was 6 rounds, really quick, and quite dominant as well from Ascent. They kind of slacked off a little bit at 4-1, but yeah, that was very impressive.
Yeah, it really, really was. I'll be totally honest with you. I didn't like the way the map was going. I felt like Feint were in a really bad position where there was nothing they could do to redeem themselves, and they got that round back. And it was just from them gritting their teeth, trying to deal with a sense of aggression as much as possible. And they managed to do it. Not perfectly. They did still end up having the Mercy rule invoked on themselves. But most importantly, they showed that they're not a weak team. They didn't get 5-0'd. As far as I'm concerned, that's not a 5-0. They've shown their teeth. They've just made a little bit of mistakes here and there. But to detail those mistakes, I actually have 2 wonderful gentlemen to pass you on to. I have TurboTabs and Epley, and they're going to give us some analysis. So passing over to those guys now.
Hi there, wonderful gentleman here. I'm joined by my fellow gentleman here, Epley. And yeah, I mean, what do we even talk about, Epley, from that game? It just went by so quickly, and then we were bum rushing back to these seats, and then when we sat down,
for lunch or just
Feint were just like, oh yeah, it's time to flick on the monitors and let's get back to gaming.
Yeah, I mean, in a game like that where you have about 4 rounds in about 8 or 9 minutes, it's obviously that first half was incredibly one-sided. I feel like, as Grumpy mentioned, there was a bit of a kind of tonal shift in Ascent kind of from there on out. Once you have such a ridiculous kind of round advantage, you can afford to be a little bit liberal. I would imagine, maybe this is just me being a bit optimistic, but first day of LAN, you want to kind of try some different things. You want to kind of poke and prod. A 5-0 in 10 minutes isn't particularly useful for you preparing for the rest of LAN. So you can you can try a few different things. And obviously, like, credit where it's due to Feint, they did kind of start. They kind of woke up a bit more and they were looking a bit more into things. But ultimately, it just shows that at least on Gully, Ascent is just a different caliber of team right now.
Yeah. Now, like any good LAN practice or LAN game, people have questions and quarrels with them because now you can't just back away back into the recluse of your home. You have to answer people. People will say, "What went off there, Ixie? How come you lost, Smear?" I feel like our boys could do with some help here, Epley. So I'm going to write down some excuses. You give me every good excuse in the book.
Every good excuse
for Feint Gaming, and then maybe we can bail them out here. Like, I think a good one I can think of is like Solentis and Drak. They don't lose Gully Wash. So
no, they don't.
They do not lose Gully Wash. So there's one.
Absolutely impossible. Yeah, I mean, obviously the drop to 4 damage. 4 damage genuinely has an RNG multiplier in there. Broken mechanic doesn't make sense.
All right.
They can use the excuses of as of right now, Finnish scouts are the way to win TF2.
Yep, Finnish scouts.
Absolute powerhouses. Yep.
I mean, if you're just in the country that's dark all the time, the only thing you can do is play video games. Like
MGE, sitting on TR, walk away with your pistol, just powing away,
Yeah. What else we got? Oh, we got probably like the first LAN jitters. LAN jitters, we'll get that down there.
LAN jitters does happen.
Yeah.
I mean, some people are having 10 ping instead of 5 on their net graph. So
oh, no.
Oh, absolutely.
No, let's get that down there. Let's get that down there. Okay. So, I mean, does any of these excuses hold water here? Like, do you think maybe the LAN jitters is a good reason? I mean, Feint also had like a rough round 1 because they had to play 7 straight out of the gate. I mean, does this really count as their first actual game? Because I bet they weren't even playing in that last one.
Yeah, well, I know Process versus 7. I believe that was a 5-0 pretty kind of swift on that one as well. So definitely a little bit kind of it's difficult playing that top seed to begin with. It's really kind of hard to really get yourself in that game when you're constantly playing from behind. I would say probably in the world of excuses, in the world of kind of, you know, reasons, things to kind of look at for, you know, what went wrong, I got to say you mostly got to put it down to map pick. I think any other map than Gullywash that we see them play on is going to be a completely different beast.
So, I mean, some would say out there, Confucius would say, that we learn a lot more from our defeats than our victories. Like, would this be the case here at LAN? Do you want to kind of lose, get your losing out of the way here in these group stages, or is a win still quite valuable in these parts of the game?
So it's obviously great from a seeding point of view, but from the point of view of, well, obviously from like an ego point of view, if you go to LAN, you start winning everything, like you feel great. You know, you're just like, okay, you know, we're beating this team, you know, we had close scrims against them before, now we're feeling good. But at the same time, these are the group stages. This is day one. As much as it will matter for seeding, throughout the rest of the tournament, you know, you could lose every single game throughout these group games, but as long as you just keep winning from there on out, you can win the whole tournament. There's absolutely no reason why not. So, you know, if there's a time to make mistakes, if there's a time to lose control of games and just kind of, you know, try and find something to learn off of, like, that time is now. It isn't once we start getting to these best-of-3 playoffs.
Yeah. Now, it is map pick and ban here in the group stages, as well as the upper brackets and all sorts of games here in the invite bracket of TF2. Now, is this map, Gullywash, like a map to just ban outright? Is it for all teams? Do all teams need to kind of perk up here and realize, no, that Ascent team is just too good at Gullywash, we need to just cut that out right now? Or is it more like a weakness for Feint?
I would say, honestly, if I was any team versus Ascent, you know, regardless of my own strengths and weaknesses, I would probably just look to ban, like, Gullywash. Maybe not, like, instantly, you know? I feel like for Ascent, if you're looking to play them, the two maps you've got to be really afraid of is Viaduct and then Gullywash close behind. You know, we've seen Ascent beat absolutely everyone on Viaduct. We've seen Ascent dominate 7 on Viaduct, which is, you know, the team who's won Prem season after season after season. So I think if you're looking at picks and bans, you ban Viaduct first, and then I do think Gullywash is a fairly close second. But clearly Feint's thinking differently to me today.
I mean, it is just the first map. It felt like, you know, half a map practically went by that quickly, but we still got another map coming up, so you're still going to hear the luscious voices of Grumpy Koi and Beta as well. But I mean, any expectations going to this map? Any like immediate adjustments you expect these teams to make?
I think most of the adjustment will be from a kind of a psychological point of view. I had a chat kind of between round 1 and round 2 with some of the Feint guys, and, you know, they were saying, like, you know, I asked them how the 7 game went, and they're like, oh, you know, like, we lost. It is what it is. It didn't seem like they were taking it, you know, super hard, like, oh, God, you know, we lost, we need to sort things out, like getting in their own head. Like, that wasn't really happening. And I would imagine that's going to be happening here as well. You know, they can be like, okay, well, it wasn't quite a 5-0. It was a 6-1. We got fairly dominated, but it is Gullywash. It is a good map for them. And now we're going to be going into what should be their own map pick. So it seemed like their mentality towards the game is quite a healthy one when it comes from, like, you know, that point of view of kind of consistency. You're not letting the defeats get to you because you know best of 2s exist for a reason. Maps and picks and bans exist for a reason. So on your own map pick, it should be a case of, as long as they can do that kind of, you know, that good mental reset, they focus on their game, you know?
Yeah. I do like the positive mental attitude, but how much of that positivity is going into their preparations here, Epley? Have you been seeing anybody doing their homework, checking demos? I know Feint have a coach, so, you know, Dum Tum is probably right over there now scribbling all sorts of things. Oh, he's already written out an excuse booklet.
I'm sure he probably has. I mean, I know, you know, obviously, as a coach, you couldn't really ask for someone kind of more understanding of what's currently happening in Prem, you know. Absolutely kind of loves cramming those demos, you know, keeps on top of absolutely everything. And it's definitely something which, as a player, you play a game, you can kind of, you know, you can get to the end of those 30 minutes and win or loss, you have a certain view of how that game went. When you then go back to look at that game, or when a third party comes to look at that game, they will come to completely different conclusions from you. Because yours is from a very subjective, you know, this is what I saw happening, whereas having that third party is so important, and I think that's one of the big things which Feint as a team are doing, and maybe some other teams are doing slightly less.
All right, I'm going to ask one quick question out of you before we go back to our casters, Epley. It's just downright, who's going to win this next map?
Who's going to win this next map? I think I want to put my faith in Feint, but I think right now Ascent are looking in really, really strong form.
All right, okay. Well, you heard it here. Let's see how it turns out. We'll send it back to our casters, Beta and Grumpy Koi. Take it away, guys.
Thank you very much, Turbo and Epley. Yeah, so we're back. We're going to be doing Snake Water, and it's going to be an aggressive fest where we're going to see Polygon pop off. That's my prediction, just straight off.
It's already popped off, so
yeah, but like properly pop off.
All right, okay.
I mean, whoa.
Even more.
Yeah, the boy, like the way Polygon plays Snake, especially on the mids, will be something that Ascent are going to have to deal with. I don't necessarily think it'll be enough for them to take it from Ascent, but I feel like it's going to be a much closer game.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be a closer game. This is a more difficult map to push on really quickly, right? So like you can kite Ubers and like there's a lot of really long sight lines. We might see the Kredu sniper come out a bunch, and
as well as the Koff sniper.
Yeah, that should be a sight to behold, right?
Oh, those two popping off against each other is always an interesting one.
Yeah, like second point is really good for sniper, and like last, arguably too. It's more on the defensive side, but yeah. I have a feeling we're going to see that a bunch, and I think it's going to be a lot slower, so I wouldn't be surprised to see something like 4-2 or something.
4-2. Yeah, that sounds about right.
That sounds like a more
reasonable
score than like 6-1 or 7-2.
Yeah, no, I definitely would agree with 4-2 to Ascent. But coming into the map, apart from that, like Snakewater, shall we just have a quick chat about that? It's the first time we've seen it at this LAN. It's a staple. It's a staple map at this point. It's like it's part of the main three, which is Process, Snakewater, and Gully Wash. I think are like the pug maps, as we like to call them.
Yeah, big time. It's a map everyone's played at this point, and like it has actually seen some small updates and stuff, which breaks old demos, which I hate. But it has gotten better and better over time as well, and everyone just knows it.
Haven't they reworked the clipping? There's like a lot of clipping reworks and
yeah, that kind of stuff. There was like that thing on middle where if you shot them when they were like close to like the lip above the choke, you just do 0 damage. Like even if you hit them with the direct rocket, it would do 0 damage if it's just close to that. So that was a whoopsie, but I think that's all fixed. But either way, it's not really important. The important part is that Snakewater is a stable map that they've all played, and like they know what to expect on mid, right? Soldiers are probably going to engage first on mid. They can do like a double soldier bomb, like really high in the sky. You can send one soldier into kitchen to like either play that or go all the way and loop behind. You can send a soldier in very aggressively onto the catwalk. You can send them very aggressively into their saw room. You can do like 2 of those things at the same time. You can do them very aggressively. You can also just like land on their head and just like to go, okay, I'm going to do 300 damage. I'm going to die immediately, but I'm going to do 300 damage, and the rest of my team, they're just going to walk across the point and do
it's all about those soldier initiations, especially on Snakewater, because a lot of players are going to have to work around, playing off that damage, making sure that the demo doesn't walk across the point and just cream you after their soldier has just dealt so much damage, because that's usually the playstyle, isn't it? Yeah. You send that soldier in, he creates so much space, so many problems for the for the enemy team, and the demo just walks in with stickies and just goes, yeah, I'll have that, I'll have that, I'll have that, and the scouts are just like dealing with all of the other mess that's behind them.
Yeah. Like Demo Man can be the easiest thing in the world on this mid. Like if your team is playing really well and like you have good timing, it just feels like you're just walking around destroying things.
Exactly, and Smire and Adiski have already proven that they are very, very good at reading situations.
Yes.
Arguably, Smire overextends a bit, but still he knows when to deal a lot of damage, and that's going to be really important on Snakewater middle.
Yeah, like overextending is not really like a thing on mid fights, like very much at least. Like that's not something he's ever suffered from. So I think he's going to be completely fine in that situation. It's also more difficult to get picked off as Demo Man on this map because, like on Gully Wars, they're right behind the wall, right? So there could just be 2 players just walking around the corner and picking you off. Whereas on Snakewater, they're kind of further away. They're like behind the wall that's over there, right? So it's a little easier to not get picked off. You have a little more leeway and it's a lot more forgiving. And I kind of think that's why a lot of people really like Snakewater, because it's like this longer map where scouts are more dominant.
Yeah, and anything where a scout does well, people like.
I don't.
I don't personally, but you and I are predominantly med mains, and now we play a lot of pugs and stuff like that. So for us, dealing with scouts is not really our forte.
No, we need to do like a laser tag game where it's just like scout mains versus everyone else, and we need to win so badly. But all right, I think I asked you for the prediction last game, but I'm going to take the first prediction this time, and I think it's going to be 4-2 in favor of Ascent.
Yeah, I think we said that earlier. Yeah, 4-2.
Well, you have to pick something else. That's.
Oh, I have to pick something else.
Yeah.
5-0 to Ascent.
5-0 to Ascent. It's bold. I like it. That's what we saw in the first match with Feint and Seven. That was a 4-2 on the first map and then 5-0 on the second map. So yeah, maybe it could be a similar story where they just give up, they just like roll over in the second one.
I really hope they don't. I hope Coach Dum Tum has had a good little chat with his boys and said, this is what we got to do. This is what they like to do. Let's do this.
Yeah, like our analysts, they were looking for excuses. I hope Feint are looking for answers.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's what you want to do. You want to just see, okay, what went wrong? Like when did we win? And like what kind of situation were we able to like really surprise them and go in? Like how did Polygon went in and went huge, but like he got in due to a situation that happened, and they just abused a fault in a sense, like playstyle, right? Like they were just like walking forward, and then they were just assuming that everyone else would just be going out, and then he just jumped in alone. And
but we'll actually be going live on the second map between Ascent.EU and Feint Gaming. And this is Snake Water. The first map went to Ascent 6-1, and now we're on to the first mid, and Diski looking to spam some damage across, but we're going to see the soldiers start to make some moves. We've got one soldier doing a really nice high bomb, and that is Salentes. He's dealt a lot of damage onto players, and Polygon has actually been dealt in the backlines. Oh, Salentes taking out Ombrak. That's absolutely perfect for his team. They're going to have to just play around the heels, but Connors gets collapsed on in kitchen, and Ascent players need to be careful as Feint have done really good job.
It's a one-on-one on 3
That was a 2-on-1 and he took it.
And then there's a single guy left. I think he's going to go in and take it, right? Like surely a scout against a demo. But there is some setup involved here as well.
He's just going to go deal with the player in Saw, and Am staying alive. How is he get? Oh my God, he takes down Polygon as well. That's 3 kills.
He's still behind lines.
He's still on. Smire's trying to just leave, and he's not able to. The 3 boys ready to come out. And that was just nuts from Ams. Just a little bit of disrespect.
Yeah, just going full Game of Thrones, just beheading the last guy in. All right, but absolutely going huge. I don't know. It always looks weird when you watch it on the STV, but like he just did a 180 and like insta like just hit him there. And it's a good thing that his own team were able to actually get the medic as well. Like those were some real land rockets going in here. It's pretty even Ubers coming in, but it's not quite in effect yet. This is like a small advantage for Feint. They might try to use it.
I feel like Feint are trying to bully them away, trying to just stop them coming in. Mathis dealing with that scout, but ends up picking up credit. But the Ubers have been exchanged alongside that, pushing out of the shutter area. And Smire trapping off Connor. There's no way Connor can escape. Adiski going down as well. It's only Drak and Ams left. Drak's looking just to get a bit of health as Feint pushing forward, looking for anyone that's behind them, no one to deal with, so they're going to take up second beta, and that was a failed push from the Sentinel.
Yeah, they didn't really... I'm kind of surprised that they went in, and then they took the exchange after not really having gained an advantage first. I think a lot of teams, when they push in from that left side, they're just looking to get a pick, and then if they get a pick, they'll just go for the exchange, and then they'll take the fight. But they didn't actually have any proper big advantages to really push off of, so it was just maybe a bit of hubris there, just thinking, we're better than them, we'll just take the exchange anyway. But it didn't work out at all, and then the medic got caught in, and it all got slaughtered. Actually, a Sword is jumping in, the Drak coming through the window there. Not going to be able to find the medic. He tried to go for the demo man, but did not find him.
A little bit of ad on the side of Feint, and they're looking like they want to use this. They're pushing forward, taking up the high ground really nicely with Ascent knowing that they can't win this fight, so they're backing up. Adiski trying to set up some sort of trap to deal with anyone chasing him. But right now, they're going to be holding their second against mid. Ubers are equal, but I think Koff wants to try and get in and do something, but not able to do so. Backs back.
There's a soldier in right now, and that's Polygon. I think he jumped into the lower area. Not able to really get any rockets onto Connor. Very unfortunate, but they did manage to get the distraction off that they wanted. So now they need to be wary of counter sacks. You can see Drak, he's just like in the position. And there's going to be actually Silentes that ends up jumping in instead. He's getting knuckled so hard by these scouts.
Yeah, and Silentes now kind of getting separated from his team, but creating the distraction for Drak to try and make a play. Not able to do so. Silentes is super low with no ammo actually in his clip, so he could have got rushed. Nice direct onto Ams, though, as Mathis does end up going down. Silentes in return, but actually Feint cleaning house right now, pushing the Ascent boys out of their sword, chasing them pretty hard onto second. And I think some Sen players are going to get collapsed on here, as they do manage to get the force out of Connor. Ombrak hasn't used yet. Ixie staying alive for a decent amount of time and created a full advantage situation for Feint. Smearray going in onto Connor, trying to deal the damage. Does deal a nice little 80 bit of damage onto them. Dealing with the soldiers, jumping onto them. Smearray super low. He's going to get cleaned up by a nice bomb from Salentes. With the Drac down though, Feint can still go forward as they are, as Ascent have only got 2 players dead. Salentes does not get it. Ombrak 7 HP. How did you not use Ombrak?
Like, surely fall damage won't screw him over twice, you know?
7 HP!
Yeah, balls of steel. He's just milking the Uber like a prize cow, that's for sure. Like, the entire time, he could have just popped, and they could have just taken the fight, but he just kept, like, dropping players. And at some point, you can look really stupid if you just keep dropping players, but he ends up looking like a genius instead. So he's going to jump in very aggressively. Adiski is going to get protected by his heavy body. And they've actually, once again, not used the Uber, and it has completely equalized. So they actually end up just not using it in time. But, you know, you can't drop an Uber if you don't have an Uber. So, you know, they're just going to wait. Let Connor build that Uber and then try to drop him. That's more flashy. But it's still 0-0, and they're in a good position.
Yeah, how do you feel like Feint are gonna try and get that force out? Maybe looking at some sort of Polygon Mathis play where they send in both soldiers, then back out. Try and deal with the sentry gun. There's a very interesting, like, sticky placement from Adiski where he's just got a carpet going down in lobby. And it's actually very pretty the way he's done that. It's like
artistically, yeah.
Very, very artistic on that. And
I want to see, yeah, okay, so the answer to your question, how are they going to get this drop, is going to be the sniper. They don't quite get him. They found the red carpet, or the blue carpet, I guess, of Adiski there. And they have dealt with it. It wasn't like the most effective trap I've ever seen, but
it was one of the best looking ones.
It looked real good.
Oh, actually, Mathis ends up going down to some spam from Adiski as he's rotated really nicely.
Oh, no, Drac jumps in perfectly.
No way. What a read from Drac there. Read the situation perfectly. Knew that they were trying to deal with Adiski. Adiski getting that pick forced the team to backpedal Vita.
Yeah.
And Drac was just like, I'll take some of that, please.
And he was just in a good position to counter-sack immediately. Like, that's really quick. Counter-sack for sure. Like, you really need to be careful with that. Looks like we actually have a demo man. Oh my god, he somehow beefs so hard, and he actually created a smear, kind of being over-aggressive there, but doesn't get punished for it, so he kind of just baited them here. And they still have this sniper. But yeah, like, just so far on Ombrak, he hasn't respected the land rockets, and you need to do that. Like, they're not going to miss this. I think Ingi from LEGO, he, like, made an exact replica drop of that, like, last year. It's just, when you get popped up in the air like that on land, you pop. Like,
yeah, you have to pop. You're just suspended too easily. And saying that, Ascent are actually at a bit of a disadvantage right now on Uber. Ombrak, about 90%, looking to clean that up right now. And Koff looking for an angle, doesn't manage to connect anything, which is a shame. But Feint using this opportunity, knowing they have that Uber ad to move forward, try and get around on the board. At least this is a hell of a lot closer than the previous map, as Adiski actually gets caught out by Polygon. So that's some good work, and that leads to almost a precursor to the push that's going to come out of Feint in a moment.
The trapper becomes the trap, as they're going to go into this left side, and they've actually picked off AMS as well. Yeah, he was on engineer, so we still have the sentry gun to deal with, but he's not there to defend it. So there we go. Pipe onto the medic.
Oh, nice. This is good work from Feint. They're cleaning up players, doing some good focus calls. Haven't lost anyone. A lot of damage onto them. But Smearray with some really good work, but trying to get the air shot gets destroyed for his time. But Adiski dies as well, so there's still an opportunity for Feint to do something, but they've lost too many players. They're going to have to back out, and that's going to be a failed push from Feint. Oh, no, the chase from Abs is going to mean that luckily Ombrak survived, so it's not going to be actually a huge Uber disad. Actually, I think they've got a little bit of an Uber advantage right now compared to Ascent. But
do they realize, though?
Yeah, I don't know, because Connor hasn't really been building.
Yeah, it's always very difficult to tell in these situations. Oh, my AMS is going to find a random pipe there. He's going to be out of the fight. Looks like Adiski is going to try and see if he can just lock everyone out, and he will successfully do so. So they're going to get mid here pretty easily. But on second, there's going to be an Uber fight for sure if they want to get it. Like, if they get that for free, I would be shocked. But they might just decide to just go in there super aggressively, and that's exactly what they do.
Yeah, and Sen actually dealing with huge amounts of damage going their way, but Adiski wants to take this forward. And look at that damage onto Feint. He forces the Uber. They've got so much time to actually use that. They do drop both their soldiers, though, but they're going to pressure nicely. They're getting surrounded by Feint players. They've got a soldier trying to meet them in choke, and Mathis does pick up Connor, which is always good. And Ascent getting cleaned up a bit here. Adiski staying alive. Nice pipe from Adiski. He may be able to do something here, but no. Koff rotates really nicely around that left-hand door. And they're continuing the aggression from Joe, but Salentes can just walk onto Ombrak, but then he's got 2 scouts beaming him down. And that has now created an awesome situation for Feint.
Ascent just dripped in like 1 at a time or 2 at a time there. So
you can't trickle in.
Yeah, Feint was just able to just pick them off 1 by 1, and it was just 2 scouts and a medic. Probably the best DM combo in the game. It's so mobile, and like you saw what happened there with the Salentes. He like hit 1 rocket onto the medic. He's like surfed away just a little bit, and then 2 scouts just looked at him. He's like, "Oh no, what have I done?
Oh yeah,
what have I done?
What have I done?"
Like kicking the beehive basically.
Oh Credu. Can he do it? That is the question. Can he hit it? He decides not to go for it.
They don't seem to have suspected.
No, they didn't seem too locked down and focused on it. But he decides against it. Smiro does go forward, deals a lot of damage onto the sentry gun, but is staying alive really nicely from Arms. It does eventually go down. He's now trapping off point, dealing some really nice pipes. But the Ascent Uber comes in, and they're starting to clean up players, taking down Smire and Matt. And now, as the combo comes in of Ombrak and Ixi, they're not doing too well. Konu as well joins the fight. They're cleaning up players on the point. And that's going to be it for Feint, taking the first round of the map.
Really
completely different from what we expected.
Yeah, just turned around. Maybe it was just a slow start from them, and maybe they just don't like Gully. But either way, that was a really solid push. They seem to have a lot more cohesion than Ascent in that round, and it really paid off for them. And even like having generally really good play from AMS there, that just wasn't enough for them. So now we got a new middle. Last middle was extremely chaotic, so let's see if that keeps up here.
Well, we're waiting for the plays, and actually Polygon taking up some of the high ground, tries to deal a nice rocket. Doesn't end up connecting. He's the first to go down, but Drac with the return. But Salentes in deep gets on Brack. No qualms. But Smire reads the situation perfectly and picks up Connor. That's how you play that situation. Like we mentioned before, Smire is very good at reading what's going on, and he picks up Connor and creates this situation not to be too bad, but he's going to die so late unless someone can save him, and that person is Polygon. They're going to save him, and they're looking to again rotate into a good spot where they can hold on to this second. They haven't got a Huber disad. They've actually got an Uber advantage right now, Peter.
Yeah, it's kind of worked out for them pretty well. It's not really an advantage to write home about, but like Smire, I thought he was going to die there. Like 2 scouts on the prowl, you're extremely unlikely to get in there. Luckily, the cavalry arrived in form of Polygon at in the nick of time. You have to jump forward really aggressively here. Now Ascent is just going to push in very aggressively onto grass, maybe to see if they can distract and maybe
was that Drac watching a door then? Good boy, Drac.
I think it was just waiting for like the call that, okay, they're distracted, you can go through the window and jump. I think that's what's going on. And I think that's the position he's in right now. Like he's just waiting for the distraction, so he's just going to jump through. Oh, I think, yeah.
Might just be watching the door. No, he's coming in from a completely different angle, trying to do a skip jump, but creates such a big distraction that the plays go on, but they've lost 2 players, both their soldiers, and they have 10 seconds until Drac comes back. This is a good opportunity for a Feint, once again, to assert a bit of dominance, come into middle, and that's what they're looking to do so. And they've got their soldiers set up to come in from Saw, maybe create some of the high ground, but Smire, a little bit passive, doesn't really want to be a part of it. Decides to back out, get himself into a spot where his team can protect him, not overextending, which is always a good thing to see.
Yeah, they just ended up sending a Sacker in the form of Polygon. They couldn't really make that work, so they just back off. So that was just like a big pseudo push, so to speak, where they were just trying to make the other team fear them and just get enough space for our soldiers to get in there. They didn't manage to do that, so now we're just back in here. And we've seen that they really like to send in their soldiers, but yeah, he got sticky trapped instead, so no luck there for Salentes.
Good trigger discipline from Smire. He saw that no one could really see the trap and no one was really paying attention to it, so he tried to get the best pick possible, and he was trying to get onto Salentes just to create a little bit of an opportunity for his team to get on there. Not able to do so, and again, they're holding second to mid. They got one. They don't have to rush too much. They've got a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, they I mean, we're not really at the point yet where you can like slow down and say we will never push. That's not where we're at. But you're right. Like they are in a like you normally is on the onus is on the people that hold mid to push, and that is Ascent right now. And so they're definitely not in a hurry. Demoman's gonna go in. I think, is that an air shot? I can't even tell.
That was an air shot from Polygon.
Oh, that's a skybox then. He didn't kill him unfortunately, but he's just gonna go in there, hit more good shots. I think. He's also making room for matches. I think they're going in at the same time. He's actually just going to take the Uber exchange.
Yeah, they're going to do it. And actually, really good work from Polygon there. Going on the players that aren't anywhere near the Uber, causing a lot of flashing on the side of Ascent. They're not able to do it, but sadly, Ascent react perfectly, clean up players, do a lot of focus calls, and they've actually cleaned them up really, really, really nicely.
Going to have to go all the way back to last year for Feint. Ascent, they don't have like an Uber advantage, but like there's no Ubers at all, so they're just gonna dry push this. There's 2 players down right now in the form of Fame. They're about to respawn. There we go. Kuna is on sniper, so he's gonna say he can pick anyone up. He will find Drag immediately, and I think it's just too much. Sort of gets bounced around. Actually, finds his way into the medic.
That was a good little surf. That was a cheeky little surf from him.
Yeah, making the best of a bad situation. You know, he was getting juggled out, but he's like, oh, I meant to do this.
But you know what they say when life gives you rockets.
Surf that sucker into a German Healy guy. That's exactly what they say. Polygon's actually going to get a pick onto AMS, overextending there quite a bit, getting a little bit too eager. And now they actually look like Feint could make some sort of push happen on the fly.
Yeah, well, Feint in a good position. They've got an advantage because they are waiting on AMS to return. AMS is the main caller, and they want to go forward, but suspended in the air was Polygon, and they've decided to back out, trying to get that force onto Connor, not able to do so. And once again, Feint holding things up, but doing pretty well, like a lot better than I was expecting. This is a lot more organized from Feint, and I feel like because there's a lot of space, I feel like Ascent are struggling because they're used to tight cornered maps. That's kind of
well, talking about space, Drac was in space right there, trying to look for the medic, and looks like Celentis will join him as well. Not going to be able to find that medic pick, and that's going to be, once again, 2-man up for Feint. And we saw this before where they would send in a soldier and do the pseudo push. And I think we're about to see that again. And,
actually, there's an Uber exchange going on right now, and they're trying to flash loads of players. Smire's kind of trapped in a bad position, but he gets credit with a nice pipe, and a second pipe going on to AMS. AMS is going to try and just juke onto Ombrak, not able to do so. With us, Adiski down as well. Feint are in a really good position. Only 3 players left. Polygon takes the arrow, goes straight into lower, and now he's pushing forward. Nice jump from him, trying to trap out Connor. Connor does some really nice jukes, but he ain't going to survive. With Smire stealing that kill from Polygon. Polygon deserved that.
Yeah, it's so good momentum. And once again, once the initial fight was kind of over, I don't want to say it was over, but they managed to once again stay together while the rest of Ascent was just dripping in. And it's just so good. They're pushing in now. They haven't put time on the point, but they've gotten quite a bit of damage done, but they're going to be the only ones to actually lose anyone. So a bit of a failed push right now. It's still even Ubers. So, not even Ubers, sorry, like Feint. They have the advantage, though. They didn't have Ubers in that push. But they're actually going to get counter push, and Polygon will go down, trying to deny that space.
But actually, second player going down of Koff, and Adiski putting in work with a huge amount of damage, but Ombrak uses the Uber. They're trying to catch on to Connor. They're able to do it. Smire with some really good work. Now you've got Adiski completely separated, but the scout goes in on Smire, cleans him up, and Credu and AMS are going to start cleaning house right now. Polygon does not even want to be a part of that.
There's actually a lot of people weak, but I don't think there was that many calls on who was weak and who was not. So a bit unfortunate there that they not even managed to follow up on that damage. But that was a really close push. Both medics died. Going to be this would be actually a really good time to go crit streak, but that's not going to be the case.
Just that little bit of extra build time, and those crits can always surprise, especially with LAN being a good time to crits, because you've got that awesome amount of, well, the awesome lack of any ping in real terms, and that does mean that your demos can absolutely pound with some crits. But neither team deciding to do so, and 1-0 to Feint Gaming at Copenhagen Games, and completely different from the last map.
Yeah, absolutely. We kind of alluded to this, right? Like the pace is very different. It's a lot slower, and I think that just fits Feint better. And we can currently see them just pulling out. There's actually a bunch of some really nice sticky traps here in Saw. I think it has been spotted. So they're definitely trying to shoot things inside the Saw. So good stuff there. And now we have Feint down middle. You know, they are ahead. We mentioned it. I still don't think they're in a situation where they can really like hold forever. Like the round will still be set. But we're getting there. Like it's closing into that moment.
There is some really good rotations coming out of the players though, looking for angles, looking for maybe a little bit of an overextension, a keenness from Ascent. And if they're able to do so, that will mean they can start bringing this forward. I don't feel like Feint are wanting to park the bus, but I do feel like Feint know that they've got a bit of breathing room right now. They have got the lead, so the pressure is all on Ascent. So Feint just need to focus on playing their game right. And if they do that, I think they'll have this map.
Yeah, I definitely think they're going to be sending in soldiers to try and get them to pop. I think it's just going to be one soldier at a time and then just go. I mean, come on, Land Rockets, do it for us. Just do it. And like, currently, like Ascent, they need to do something as well. Like they want to break the stalemates just as much as Feint does, or even more so. So. Currently, no team are really like doing too much. They're not putting a lot of pressure on. At some point, they're going to have to like push in aggressively on grass or something just to make things happen and get people hurt. And it looks like Silendus is going to actually go, nope, this is too slow. I'm going to take the consequence of this. I'm just going to go spy. And I think this was the Cloak and Dagger. He's going to make his way in there. He doesn't eat a random spam rocket. That's step one on being a good scout. Now it's just a waiting game.
What's step two?
Getting behind lines, I guess. Uncloaking where they don't hear it, and then you need to find the medic and time it perfectly. It's pretty easy.
He's done step 1 and 2.
No, so he's not actually behind them yet.
Well, he uncloaked and they didn't hear him, so I guess he did 1.5.
Yeah.
But he's looking to go behind right now. It's actually a really good spot, but what his team needs to do is we need to see some movement out of Ascent right now. Make some noise, bang some pots and pans together. Make sure that...
He's going.
He's going for
it.
He gets it! Nice!
Perfect.
Solentes reading the situation perfectly. A really, really good backstab from him. But Adiski going down because Kunu isn't having any of that, taking down 2 players. And with Ams chasing in, we've got Kunu in the backline still trying to do something. Doesn't end up actually doing so. And it's going to be a bit of a collapse and a wipe from Feint.
Connor goes down at the very end there, though. Ixie getting the key pick. So it will not save this mid from going up, but it might be able to save second. It will definitely save last. And that's a big pick coming up from Ixie. Just very, very end of that fight. But yeah, that was not a good look for Feint for sure. They're definitely wavering a little bit here. But, you know, Ascent, maybe they're feeling some nerves as well. We saw them lose the second map to Swift. Maybe map 2 is just not their jam. They just can't deal with it. And like maybe they're too predictable and teams just adjust to them too well, and then they don't know what to do themselves. But I'm definitely curious to see what they're going to do with this because they are at a slight Uber disadvantage right now. And, you know, they could get pushed on.
I think they're... right now we're seeing Smearay absolutely struggling to deal with that.
He didn't get them.
He just could not deal with any of those stickies. But right now, I feel like Feint know they've got that little bit of an advantage. I feel like Ombrax, you know, being very keen on counting Zubas. And Ascent also being very, very smart, holding very passive right now. And really, Ascent need to start trying to take control, kind of demand, you know, to be heard, to be seen, to be doing things. And I feel like Smearay is just not having any of that, dealing so much damage to the people that are all in choke right now. And he's chilling. He's not really that phased. Adiski looking to create something. Drak actually does end up going down. Adiski's going to go down to some amazing plays from Smearay there. Some good read, good amount of damage, and he sniped him with that nice little stick.
Yeah, I've never seen a demo man use that angle to do that much damage. So he's just gonna be feeling it, just taking the Uber here. So they're now shiny, looking at each other. He's actually gonna jump behind. That's so odd, but it could just work out here.
It could work out, but Ams is very good at the DM fight and calling focus for his team. Now Koff and Ixie are trying to deal with the 2 soldiers, but they're taking a lot of spam. They're going to have to backpedal out. Feint have decided, yeah, let's turn tail and run.
How did Smear get out? He jumped behind. Like, he just somehow surfed out. Yeah, he's just everywhere. Just unkillable at this point. It didn't work out for them. It was a very odd decision to like jump your demo man up top, you know. Like that's usually a soldier thing.
This feels like a completely different map for Smearay. I feel like Smearay's putting in some real work for his team. Not saying he didn't that much last time, but he got caught out a lot. But on this, he's able to be really, really aggressive. And he gets away with it. Like, that play he did earlier was just nuts.
Right, like, it's definitely his play style. Like, he's very confrontational, so to speak, right? Like he wants to fight you whenever he sees you, right? Like you don't get things for free. Like,
Yeah.
If you've ever played against a team where, like, some of them, as soon as you like peek through a choke, you'll just get shot at, and then others, like, they'll give you some space, right?
A little bit of room because they're afraid of taking the damage themselves.
Yeah, exactly, right. So, like, some people are more fond of like just exchanging and taking the fights and just having damage in return, and they feel confident that they can get the better end of it, whereas others are more passive and like you can't kill them, but they probably won't try to kill you unless you like really extend onto them. So like right now, Smith's playstyle is working out beautifully, and they are pushed back to last. There's about 5 minutes remaining, so they could. Now we are in a situation where they could just stalemate forever and never push out. But
I don't think Ascent will want any of that as they are pushing in on the left-hand side. Konu not able to connect any headshots, but some nice body shots onto Drak means that both soldiers are down. And as we've mentioned before, this can start a little bit of a collapse on the side of Ascent because they're not. As soon as I have noticed this, as soon as those soldiers go down, they do start to crumble a bit with what's actually viable. And Polygon takes up a D-ski. And that's going to mean that Arms just wants to go straight in with that Uber. Try to head onto last, get onto Koff. He is going to kill the Koff, but he's now really far behind, taking a lot of damage. The Engineer's going to clean him up in the end of Ixie. And again, 4 minutes, that's wasted time. That's wasted time and opportunities. I understand where Arms was coming from with that. But unless he catches that medic off guard, he's not going to get anything from it. But they're going to dry push this in, deal a little bit of spam here and there. They're going to send in, I think that's still in the air right now. He's going straight onto the medic, but medic just, Umbrak just like, I'll just go in the spawn.
Yeah, he's just hanging out inside. And like jumping a sentry gun is always, it feels kind of silly, right? But like actually a soldier can get in and get off 2 good rockets before a sentry gun can kill you. Like you saw, he actually managed to land next to it. So, you know, as much as we say that sentry guns are like aimbots, they don't have perfect tracking, and they don't start shooting immediately. They don't have infinite range. So, like, you actually do have the ability to get in there. But, yeah, the read was strong there with Umbrak. So he's going to have the Uber. Both teams have it now. And this is perfect. I think Faint Gamer are just committed to not doing anything.
Well, I think right now they're just hoping that as long as Ascent are just constantly trying to make something happen, they can pick out players. Actually, the sentry gun has been moved, so this could be a bad situation if someone reads that. And Mathis actually ends up going down, but Smearay, again, doing like you mentioned, he doesn't want to give them any space at all, but the rest of his team isn't there with him, but it doesn't matter because the pipes and the sticky damage coming out of Smearay is absolutely insane. And right now, he's still like a center in, but he's got to punish them. He takes down a D-ski, and his team really needs to start helping him here, picking up players. Polygon does end up going down, and Ascent playing this slow push so well. Eventually, Umbrak does use it onto Smearay. Smearay is just trying to deal with these players. Arms is just watching, waiting for that to turn, but Smearay's going to turn around. Pipe here, but was that a beautiful pipe as well?
I don't think so. I think he had some stickers on top of the roof, but either way.
Okay, it looked like it was going to be.
Ascent, they're in so good. Like, they have been inside the last point for so long now.
Like 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's kind of insane. And it's pretty weird. Like, Faint, they're just kind of giving it to them. They're just staying on their own side. That kind of shows, like, just what kind of team they are. Like, they're pretty passive, right? Like, they're even more passive than 7 in the way that they fight. Because I feel like 7, they wouldn't let them get in. Like if you peek on 7, they would just kill you immediately. Whereas Faint, they're just going, we're just going to hang back.
Well, I think everyone else didn't quite have the memo. I feel like Smearay wanted to stop them, but AMS is in. Oh no, guys, come on! Oh my God, he nearly gets it. Umbrak manages to stay alive. That would have been absolutely detrimental, but it's enough of a distraction for Ascent to start making some work in. Umbrak has used his Uber though. The Uber exchange has started to happen. Kunu needs to make something happen. He's pushing players back, whilst the rest of Faint are trying to deal with the people on point. We've got little bits of cyclical people going on to point, but Faint handled it really well with 1 minute 50 with 4 players up. Smearay just coming back, Peter. They may be able to hold this.
Yeah, he managed to spawn just in time. Like, I was really nervous when he went down there. Like, he went down to an D-ski pipe. And when you lose the demo man and the enemy team are, like, pushing into the last with an Uber, you get nervous because if you just lose focus, a scout can just kind of sneak behind and get onto the point and then it's half capped and you get really nervous. But no, they actually managed to push out and take seconds. And now it's just even more that Ascent have to push in here. So they're just going to go balls to the walls all the way in here. Not able to hit those crisp air pipes. But this fight, it's very close.
Smearay has been putting so much work in with his damage right now. Again, playing that far forward play style. Kunu and Ixi, though, do go down, and Smirre doing the right decision, backpedaling. He's got no one else on his team. This could be the equalizer from Ascent, and they're looking to do so. We've got a big bomb incoming from Silentes, but again, that point, you need to deal with the point, Smirre. You can do this as they do start pushing players out. 50 seconds left on the timer, and a little bit of a cap on the point right now.
Yeah, I think Ascent is just going to go in super aggressive here on the right side with their Uber. Yep,
they've got an Uber advantage, and they're going to clean up players here, Vita. This is not looking good.
They're scouting the point. They're just putting up, and it actually works out. They just body block with everyone else. And in the nick of time, 30 seconds remaining, Ascent, they managed to make it 1-1, and that's going to be the final result. We can get one more mid-fight, but it's not going to matter because no one's going to have time to actually push all the way in there. So Adiski, he's going to have the worst roll that you've ever seen. I think he's like he's probably having a drink of water.
They probably just stood up. They've just stood up and started walking away, getting ready for. Are we? I don't know. I haven't actually checked. Are golden caps going to be something that we're going to be doing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Golden caps are actually a thing, I think. And I think it's 15 minutes on these golden caps. So there is actually just going to be a winner of every map, I believe. So we have more to go, but it's not going to be 40 minutes. You know, Henny is he's probably like ripping his hair out already just thinking about it.
Okay, so it will be going to a golden cap, but very interestingly different from Feint there. They played a huge amount of advantages when they could, and Smirre was just always that wall against Ascent. Every time they came in, they had to meet with Smirre, and Smirre was having none of it at some point.
Yeah, like he did so much damage that all their pushes were just, they kind of got destroyed before they got in, right? Because like they could still push just fine. Yeah, they just have kind of bad health on all of them, and you don't want to do that. And then, like, even as they were retreating, he was just like picking off players left and right. So yeah, Smirre had a really good game on that one. I kind of want to see the logs, but we'll do that later. But definitely Smirre having a big game, and still, it was basically a complete reversal of the first map where Ascent were just like rolling in the beginning, right? And then
I didn't really feel like Ascent were even in control.
Like, this map, no.
No, they did not feel in control at any point. Polygon and Smirre were just taking control, taking charge. And especially with some of the moments where Kunu popped off as well, it was, a little different, a little interesting, and they put a little bit of spice here and there and took full control when they could. Yeah,
like a big issue with Ascent's play so far has been the dripping, like the slow drip of players in a fight. So there's going to be like an Uber exchange, and then like some players die, and then after that, there's going to be like, okay, so now there's like 3 players up on the side of Feint, and then like Silenta's going to try and jump in, but he gets caught out, and then there's going to be like a scout that also goes in, right? And so it just like slowly goes out of control, and then they can like overwhelm players again, just like completely riding that momentum. And that's what they've been doing really well. It's just ride the momentum whenever they get the chance to do so. And it's been really effective, and Ascent kind of been looking kind of a bit disjointed, and like they don't have good enough calls to really deal with it.
Well, there was a few moments where what I've kind of mentioned before was actually in play, which is taking out Slenters and Drac. That seemed to be a nice little focus from Feint. I feel like Dum Tum has taken some of my advice.
Oh yeah,
which is surprising considering I am who I am, and kind of told them to, or even the players themselves have realized that it is like. Credu and AMS can pop off, but Silentes and Drac are the real playmakers. They really solidify their kind of whatever Ascent are doing. It's always solidified by Silentes and Drac. So going forward onto this golden cap, I feel like that's going to be their focus once again.
Yeah, I will say like Drac has had impeccable timing with his medic
God,
thing. Yes. Like he has had like every time there's like an opportunity for a counter attack, he's there immediately. And he's just, like, if he gets in, he's getting the medic. Right? Like, it doesn't matter if he's using fall damage or just, like, pops him into the air and air shots him. It doesn't matter. Like, he's getting it. So, like, the Drac's timing has been absolutely amazing. And maybe perhaps Silentes has kind of been a little bit more lost. But, yeah, we're going live with this golden cap. It's going to be first to capture all of the points, or 15 minutes, whoever holds middle will win.
Hopefully we won't see a very passive playstyle from either teams. I don't feel like it's going to be a sense plan at all, but coming onto this first mid, nice little like pipe coming in, but Drac, that was so close as Drac reads the situation, but Adiski going down as well, and Ixi onto Connor takes him down. With Smearay going down, though, it's a bit of a DM fight right now. But I feel like, spotted the scout. The scout takes the back.
How did he miss?
He didn't even hit that.
Yeah, like literally didn't hit. But they hold middle right now, so that's a good start. It's going to be a scout and a soldier, and they want that medic so badly, but really nice clean up.
Ixie putting in work that mid.
Yes.
That was some really good work from Ixie. Like you mentioned with Ixie, not necessarily.
Oh no,
Adiski!
He tried to jump out, but he got joggled a little bit, and he couldn't get to the medkit in time.
Oh,
that's a really big mistake.
And Feint actually, again, taking charge. This is what Smearay needs to do, is he needs to take charge of his team with Ombrak, and they're going to go in with this full Uberad on the right-hand side. They're already pushing over to the left. They cleaned up that sentry gun nice and proper. Now they're looking to get control of... No! Smearay, you're supposed to trap off the point, not suck yourself onto it. Ascent with Credu on the wonderful Bootis, dealing a bit of damage to the jumpers, and they've actually handled that really, really well. Bad decisions from from Feint there.
Yeah, got a little bit too aggressive. They didn't manage to actually put too much time onto the point in time, and then you got to check yourself before you sack yourself. Otherwise, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. All right, so yeah, now it's going to be the complete opposite situation. There's actually a sniper on Kunu, so that's very uncomfortable to push into, but they're going to do it anyway.
Yeah, they're going to be looking to take control of mid, and right now Kunu just waiting for the opportunity to pop out. I think he's waddling now.
The soldier
150. Yeah, 150. Get down, Mr. President.
Exactly. Bodyguard engaged. That was perfect timing from him. And
manages to save Connor, and that means that Connor should just... I'll just do it. I'll just try it again. He's at the forward spawn. He's waiting for an opportunity to pop in. He's probably had the call that the med is
His
in.
timing is so good. He did another 150.
Nearly. But that's a 150 on a soldier once again. But Adiski actually goes down. A centre back pedaling in. But the Uber got forced out onto Ombrak. So they have to be really careful. Even though they've got that 2-player ad, they have to make sure that they capitalise or at least get a force out of Connor right now. Otherwise, this could all be for naught. As Smearay realises things are about to turn sour, he's backing out. But the chase has gone in. They managed to get the force, but I don't think it's going to be enough, as poor old Ombrak stays alive so long, but he ends up going down. And Ascent can start cleaning house. Some big rockets coming out of Drak right now, and that's the 3rd kill for him. He ends up going down, but that's some good work. And with Adiski, the only survivor on Ascent, they collapse. Again, trickling in, feeding players. And Koff with the little bit of disrespect there.
Yeah, Kuno has been really good this land so far, and that was a beautiful cleanup there by him. And like just raw DM for sure. That was a really impressive just spree by him there. And that's going to be Feint once again in the driver's seat. They're holding middle. And again, if you hold middle at the end of 15 minutes, you just win the match. So absolutely worth to
keep hold of that. But I don't think I feel like right now, look, Ombrak's building really consistently. He's got a little bit of an advantage over Connor. I feel like Smearay wants to take this forward and play very aggro. Ascent are not actually the best, aren't arguably the best at defending, but they're very good at pressing forward. So constantly having some sort of pressure against Ascent is always a good decision, because they are not going to be able to handle it all the time. And I feel like, especially with the way that Smearay wants to play this, is if he can keep that aggression, which is very atypical of Feint going, they can definitely take this golden cap, but they just need to be smart. But Adiski with the trap.
Yeah, just getting 2 players. That's going to open up so much space right now. And you can see, I think they might just be going for a sack. They have a scout running in through kitchen, just looking for that opening AMS. He has found it. He actually found the demo man. He's going to get shiny. But the Uber Force comes out, and no sign of Connor using his own. There we go. Finally does use it.
And Smearay actually on top of the point takes a lot of damage. He's only on 10 HP. He's going to go down with Ombrak down as well. Ascent are starting to actually collapse on the players, but Koff wants to stay in, wants to use the last bit of his overheal to go onto... Mathis reading the situation perfectly, does take down Connor, and they, even though they wiped, their med's going to come out first.
Yeah, that's definitely something they can use. They've now lost middle, but Ombrak, he is in here. He's even very tentatively... He doesn't want to leave spawn at all. He's like, no, we can get Rust down. So, Ombrak, he has engaged his brain right now. And he's just going to go all the way back here.
He just wants to peek back in again. And Drag's trying to punish him. but he's actually just completely overextended himself. He's ended up going down, and that's a pick, and that's the start of something for Feint. They want to push forward once again, make sure that their last point has no risk. 7 times on the point, and Beta back into a position where Feint want to try and take control again.
Yeah, they're going to be moving to middle. Let's hope they don't run into a sticky trap this time around.
Yeah, that's the main thing that kind of stops them, is those sticky traps.
Absolutely. You see a scout holding kitchen, and I think we might see a sorter coming out through the catwalk right now. That's a really good spot. It's very rarely sticky, and just like a single sorter on the roof, but you can't actually spam him away, so that's a good way to go in here. So this is very interesting, right? Like, this is very unlike what we normally see. So we're in a situation now. At some point, Feint, they need to push middle. They just need to, right? So it's almost like a last push right now. So normally I say the onus is on. Oh no!
Oh no! Smearay picking up Adiski. That's absolutely perfect for them. Like you mentioned, they need to push into middle, and this is the pick to do it. Smearay's going to take his team forward. They're going to use that Uber, try and get it forced onto Connor. Connor is going to use his cough, backpedaling out. I think they want to do a repush, catching players that go in a bit too hard. But, oh, Drak gets Ombrak. That's not good. He gets Koff as well. Polygon trying to deal with credit. Nice rockets from him. But right now, Ascent in much stronger position. Smearay getting bullied by AMS right now. And with the bomb from Mathis onto Connor, not able to actually clean that up. Drak going down, but all in all, Ascent in a really good position with a good Uber advantage.
It's just AMS defending his medic right now. Like, he's just tanking it so hard, and he's just waiting for players to run into him, and he has actually just weathered the storm at this point. Smearay doesn't want to jump. It's pretty funny. He's just going to waddle out. And now it's going to be, once again, a really strong position here for Ascent. They could potentially just try to hold for 7 minutes, but that would be kind of silly at this point. So they're going to use their Uber advantage. Not a very big advantage, so they're trying to kind of slow push in beforehand, just so that once things get really hairy, they hopefully have it in time. This is a pretty risky maneuver, but they're doing a really good job so far. They haven't dropped anyone. They're actually doing a ton of damage. They're getting a ton of space. Drak will actually go down. So this could actually come back to bite them. There's going to be a Soda sacking in, but he didn't find the Medigan. That's an air pipe. And
Adiski. That was disgusting. Land pipes can be absolutely insane. And that was exactly what that was. And right now, Ascent looking poised to actually go into last. They know that Ubers are equal, but with Matt down, they can maybe look at sending over a sack of some description. But I don't know what the plan is, as they are taking a little bit of damage here and there. I think they're just holding out. They know that Smearay is going to have some sort of trap up, and he wants to meet them. And right now, Koff checking for off classes, sees that there aren't any, and decides to go on Sniper himself. Gonna look and try and deal with that. As we see a big bomb coming in from Drak, he's surfed everything. Big damage on to Ombrak, going down to 27 HP. If there was any spam from any other members of Ascent there, that could have been a drop.
Yeah, if Smith was just like in the drop down spamming in, that would have been extremely dangerous. So that's just kind of a show. What happened to Polygon? All right. Well, either way, that was a pretty hairy situation right there. Like, I really feel like they should have just had better coordination instead of just sending in like a lone sacker. They should have had like more spam from like a sorta from like spam from bottom, man spamming from rollout. You know, like that kind of stuff can really add up, and it's sort of like just hold on to it when I have 27 HP.
Dip jump coming in from Drak though. He tries to get onto Koff, not able to do so, but with Salentes joining in as well. But actually, whilst that happened, Konu was managing to get a headshot onto AMS. So really, Feint are in a good position. But there's 5 minutes left. They need to get at least to that midpoint. And then going to be denied quite nicely by Ascent. A lot of spam going into that area. But they managed to force the Uber onto Connor. Connor's going to make a play forward, but they're not going to be able to do anything with that Uber. They're just going to have to backpedal out. And it's 100% Uber ad for Ombrak and the rest of Feint Gaming.
Going to set up here. And we said it before. Like they need to push out here. And actually, I think they can actually do a round reset. So you can just go a mid-fight. So that is an opportunity or an option. But it's going to be a long way out in the future. Soda goes down super weak. Oh, okay, so they can't do that. My bad. I read the numbers wrong. Soda jumps in, gets the force out. Really nice job there. They do lose 2 players forward. And Polygon's actually on last, holding off Predu. So yeah, that's actually super clutch going in for him like that. And there we go, Soda's in as well. They're trying to get this medic so badly, but they just cannot do it. And now all of a sudden, Ascent are in a dominant position to try actually go and cap last.
Yeah, Ascent managed to pick up some really good picks, and now they don't have Smearay to deal with for another 5 seconds. So a left Koff can get that headshot, which he just tried to do, or that one, which he also missed, is going to mean that Ascent are going to start bowling forward. They've cleaned up 2 players, looking to get control of the point. Ombrak trying to stay alive, but it's going to get cleaned up by Salentes. Good stats coming in, and that's going to be the golden cap going to Ascent. So that's going to be 2 maps to Ascent, but with a golden cap. So that's 2 points to them and 1 point to Feint.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure, but they won both maps, so it kind of looked pretty bad for like 25 minutes there or or even more. Like 30 seconds remaining until they actually managed to even it out. So yeah, Ascent, they kind of survive at the skin of the teeth there, right there. That was very close, and Feint, they came back with a vengeance. So I'm definitely looking forward to see what they can do against Swift, because now we saw Swift do pretty well against Ascent. Now we saw Feint do pretty well against Ascent. So how does Feint and Swift match up? It's probably going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, that'll be a really, really close match. Those two going against each other. It will be. It'll kind of decide of what sort of the tone and the pace is going to be set of the rest of the LAN with those two facing off. We're also going to have the 7 versus Ascent game as well coming up at some point, which is also very, very excited. But yeah, alongside that, I think I'm pretty happy with that game. I think we should let some brighter minds speak about this. Don't you agree, Peter?
Yeah, I like it. They're multiplying at the table, so you know there's 3 of them.
They got a new one. It's News joining Eeply and Turbo, and they're going to do all the brainy stuff that I don't have to do. So we'll pass over to them.
Thank you. Hi there. It's the Brainy Bunch. My name's Turbo. I'm joined with Eeply. I'm joined with News on the desk.
Hello.
Hello there, News. Welcome to the panel desk.
Nice to be here.
It's nice to see you. You're really going to flex that big brain, because
I'm going to try, but
I've really got nothing to give on this. But
Nothing.
I watched a little bit of that game there, and I know that it was just mainly the Feint show, and there was grasping so hard onto that one round. It kind of slipped between their fingers, and then a golden cap just happened, and then one thing led to another, and Ascent just kind of came out and took it. What happened? Like, any ideas of like how this could even happen for Feint?
I don't know. It just kind of seemed like well, I was standing behind the Ascent guys during the regular time in the 30 minutes, and it didn't seem like they were tilting or any of the kind of things that you might expect them to have troubles with. They seemed quite composed and disciplined, but they just kind of struggled to find the correct solution. It kind of felt like Ascent were banging their head against a brick wall, and they managed to get enough composure to bring it back and get the round in the last few minutes to secure the golden cap. But it was kind of odd to see. You'd expect a bit of a stronger performance, but I know, Eeply, you were saying when it's not on Gully Wash, it's going to be a different story.
And it was like a completely different story. I said, Gully Wash looks so dominant for Ascent the entire time, and now on Snake, obviously, it would have been Feint's pick, so it's kind of expected to be a little bit better. But the fact that, at least from my point of view, it was at worst 50-50 in terms of control for the entire first 25 minutes of the regular map time. Obviously, Feint, they did manage to get around, but it was super kind of back and forth. There was a lot of opportunities here and there. I mean, credit to where it's due to Feint. They did hold off a huge amount of Ascent last pushes. There was so much, Ascent. Like I said, we were watching from behind. It was interesting to see how Ascent would maneuver their way through the far left-hand side from the attacker's point of view. They'd kind of take so much damage. They'd play that fine line of not fully committing, not quite kind of backing out. That kind of perfect kind of middle ground play. And the fact that Feint was able to deal with that so well and so consistently, I think is really, really impressive. Obviously, in the end, it did end up working out for Ascent. But I feel like, mistakes were made on the Feint side, but I think ultimately, as much as it wasn't a win in the end, because of the golden cap, I feel like kind of from a psychological point of view, from a planning point of view, for Feint, that's like a good game. They should be happy with that.
Yeah, I would say so. There's a couple interesting things again from watching behind the Ascent players. Obviously, Connor had a lackluster performance in their first game with quite a few drops, but it looks like he picked up things a bit in this series, and he has actually added onto his Steam name his drops and map counts for the game. So I think he's going to keep that going on throughout LAN, and we're going to get to see real-time stats.
Yeah. I mean, you got to give Connor respect. Like, you'd think a lot of people would start popping that metagun a bit earlier if you've been dropping a little bit at LAN, but Connor, he's like, nah, par for the course. I just keep going.
Yeah,
keep going
and I want to point out, like, Adiski, obviously, the new addition to the Ascent lineup in place of Phil for this LAN. And I think a lot of the troubles that Ascent seem to be having, from my perspective, when they're trying to push last, I think there's a disconnect between Adiski and Connor.
That's exactly what I was just going to say.
It's not just Connor having bad performances, it's not just Adiski, but he's dying in odd spots. And what I noticed when they were pushing into last, Adiski's just a bit outside of Connor's heal range where he feels comfortable. I don't know if it's communication issues, but I feel like that is the really key thing, that those two players, the dynamic between them is slightly off. And I feel like if they can iron that out, I think we can really see Ascent start to get into their stride.
It's a shame as well if they had like a bit more of a pocket where you've got like one of the soldiers coming in, but because Solentes and Drac have both been playing Roma for such a long time, they've got this sort of duo Roma style going along. So it's kind of all kind of banked on Adiski to take these good combo plays into it. And even if it's highlighted just a bit more when it's just Adiski and Connor as that combo.
Yeah. And also, I mean, Phil is quite a short leash player. He likes to stick around as medic. He likes to play in safe positions and kind of slowly control the game. Adiski likes to go for kind of aggressive plays and, you know, go off on his own without much healing support a lot of the time. I feel like that's kind of been a problem thus far.
Yeah, I really think the biggest thing, like you said, it's this Condog and Adiski kind of combination. There was a lot just sitting behind them, a lot of situations where, from a comms point of view, you hear Condog recognizing that there's a lot of, oh, sorry, you know, like different things here and there. Like they're recognizing when situations are going wrong, but they're not stopping them from going wrong. Like they're knowing that something's going wrong. It isn't the fact that, you know, we're sitting here saying, oh, there's a disconnect, and they have no idea. They're 100% aware of that, and I feel it's fair to put it down to the lack of practice they've had with Adiski. The fact that Adiski's, like you said, it's a very different beast to playing with Phil, and, you know, even like when they played on previous things right at the beginning of the season, they were, you know, trying to play with Ali for a little bit. Obviously, it's a completely different thing, but it's also something you can't really afford to have at LAN. Like, you know, we saw them trade Mass versus Swift in Ascent. You know, theoretically, people were expecting, you know, should be like a solid second to first place going into this. But these issues are, you know, they're kind of cropping up time and time again. It's something which, you know, today, sure, you can have these issues. You can do that in the groups, and you can have, you know, slightly different things. You can have a golden cap win instead of a win. But it's the second we get into playoffs, the second we get into like the later days, you cannot afford to do that, because next thing you know, you'll be out.
I mean, absolutely. The limit of what they can handle for as far as correcting these kind of issues, it's basically the end of the invite groups. If you carry those problems on into the playoff stages, you start to affect your tournament chances and give yourself worse matchups later on.
Speaking of later on, like, this would be a lovely question. What do you think of I know we know the prowess of these gamers in-game, but what about it out of game? Which team strikes you as the one more adaptable, or is going to take on these lessons much quicker than the other opponents?
Well, when you look at Feint, I mean, credit to their coach as well. Like, they're quite keen.
Yeah.
And we've been talking about Ascent, but the Feint guys, they've got an experienced caller in Smeara. He really knows how to play LAN. He's always had big performances. They've got some really talented players as well. We saw Koff and Ixie doing a very good job playing around the beam. At one point, there was like 10 kills between two of them over the course of 2 fights. Pauly, he's always been good on LAN, hits kind of big rockets all the time. And I feel like there's always in every LAN, it seems to be the case that there's like one team that kind of starts off a bit slow. Feint haven't had great results, and then they slowly start to get better and better as the LAN goes on. And I feel like if the individual performances keep up, Feint could be that team, and we could see them make big strides in the playoff stages.
What about Ascent.EU? Do you think they're going to be the kind of ones that adapt or surround themselves in the kind of nitty tactical side of it, or are they just going to turn up and just hope that Solentes and Drac are just on point?
I think the fact that they've clearly recognized what the issues are, there wasn't, like I said, there didn't seem to be so much kind of tilt, but more, you know, those signs of frustration when things don't quite go well. Like, their issues are known issues. And I feel like, especially on a day like today, where they will actually have a bit of a break while there's a change of format and there's some Highland stuff going on, they will now actually have a few hours to work on things. Sure, you know, they're going to want to relax, they're going to want to, you know, get lunch, get all this kind of stuff sorted. But I really hope that, you know, a team like Ascent, which should be, you know, like you said before, they should be looking for gold here. I really hope they go away for the next kind of few hours and they spend that time kind of productively. You know, maybe look back at, like, you know, one of the demos, just kind of, you know, while they're having their lunch or whatever, and just be like, right, this is something which, okay, we just about kind of eked it out against Feint. Versus Swift, we wouldn't be able to do this. We need to correct this for the later group stages and the playoffs starting tonight as well. I would like to think that's going to be their mentality, and considering the players they have very disciplined players, they have very experienced players, they know that you can't just afford to make the same mistakes over and over.
Okay, well, thank you very much, News. Thank you very much, Epoli, for providing us that nice tactical insight of our game. of Feint Gaming versus Ascent.